Sorry. Okay. Welcome everyone to episode 174 of the Looks Like a Movie podcast. My name is Kevin. I'm here with Doug and Owen. We are all back together for the first time in 3 weeks to talk about Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. First, we're going to talk about what we watched this week, and before that, even we'll mention, unfortunately, that Sam Neill passed away this past week. One of the great actors, and by all accounts, a great person as well. An actor that all three of us are a fan of. Um, I don't know if you guys want to say anything about Sam Neill.
No, great. One of the most specific guys. Kind of like I don't know, really tremendous actor. My sister, the day that he passed in the afternoon, my sister texted me and was like, "The Jurassic Park guy died with a frowny face." So it's kind of
Yeah,
the news got out there, broad spectrum. Uh,
yeah. I mean, I like. There's no for me. There's no denying that like Jurassic Park is like kind of the most influential movie in my life. So in many ways, like for most of my life, he was the Jurassic Park guy, I guess, until I got old enough to watch anything else that he did. But like, I don't know. It's also that role alone, I think, speaks a lot to like why he's so tremendous. I mean, that him in Jurassic Park made me like that movie got me interested in dinosaurs, and I think it was like more specifically because like of that character, kind of like that was
mhm.
like I was like, oh, this guy is like a nerd about dinosaurs, and that got me excited. Um, so yeah, I don't know, but he's good in everything else as well.
Yeah, I know your favorite Sam Neill movie is obviously Jurassic Park. Mine's
Yeah,
probably just Possession because that's beyond just being like a really great movie, that's the performance I always think about
yeah.
when he comes up because it's so it's it's just so specific and so kind of like offbeat. Oh, and what's your favorite Sam Neill movie?
Well, I think Possession might be the best movie that he's in that I've
Hmm.
seen,
Hmm.
but I think In the Mouth of Madness, that performance is so magnetic and like cuz to me like when I think of Possession, I think of Isabel,
Right, of
and when I
course.
think of In the Mouth of Madness, I think of Sam Neill. Like he is so just the force of that, and him and Carpenter are working on some crazy levels there. That movie is really wonderful. And I know a lot of people just watched it like for the first time, which is
Well,
pretty
me,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I also
Because
have to watch it for the first time. Yeah,
it's really lovely. I love both John Carpenter and Sam Neill a lot, but yeah, that one definitely comes to the forefront of my mind. But I haven't seen Jurassic Park, so.
yeah. Well, I mean, that to be fair, I don't think that you would like
But
his
like he's
performance in
also like
Jurassic
so
Park more
lovely in
than
Event Horizon,
yeah,
I
um,
haven't seen that
which
either.
is a great film.
yeah,
The Paul W.S. Anderson film. But he's in a ton of stuff that like I mean I've only seen like 7 movies that he's in
right,
with him in it, and he's in like 100 something. So like I'm sure
right.
there's some really some hidden gems that I'm not fully aware of.
Yeah. And also, like, everything you see about him as a person is just like, this is like the loveliest
Oh yeah,
actor ever, like the loveliest human being ever. And that obviously makes it hurt a little more. Uh anyway, we could shift gears to what we watched this past week. We're gonna talk about the Odyssey for a long time. So maybe
Maybe
let's
don't
okay,
overpromise
sure, sure,
though.
sure.
What if we run out
Sure.
of things
Maybe
to
maybe
say?
not. No, you're right. You're right. Maybe we won't have
it's a
much to
lot. It's a
say.
lot of movie. I feel like we could
It is a lot of
D-
movie though. It's actually like an overwhelming amount of movie a little bit.
yeah. Yeah.
and
Doug, do
yeah.
you want to get us started with what else you've been watching?
Yeah, I only watched 2 movies this last week before seeing The Odyssey. I watched Saw 3. I'm kind
You
of like
saw three.
slowly doing a yeah, I saw Saw.
Like a spread out Saw binge.
Yeah, yeah. And the movies are so fun because the first Saw functions so much like it's trying to be Seven, like a
Yeah,
Seven like kind of rip off, you know. And then
and then
like
every other movie.
well, it's like and then Saw 2 and Saw 3 are kind of like okay, how do you make a sequel to a movie like that basically? Um
Yeah,
I know I've seen all of them, but like or not all of them. I've seen basically all of them. But after watching Saw 3, I'm like, "Oh, this is such a trilogy." Obviously. It's such a you know, it comes full circle now for the story this is trying to
yeah,
tell. There's 7 more movies.
right.
It's so
Yeah.
crazy.
Which ones have you not seen? I think the only one I haven't watched is like the Chris Rock spin. What is it,
Spiral.
Jigsaw?
Yeah,
Spiral.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
Spiral. I have seen Jigsaw though. I
yeah.
don't know if I've seen so like the higher number ones. I don't know if I've seen 7, 8, 9. I don't is 9 Jigsaw? See, I'm unsure. Anyways,
Yeah, I'm also unsure. I mean, I know I've seen just about all of them except for Spiral, but I don't know which one's which.
and then I saw In the Mouth of Madness for the
Yeah,
first time this last week. John Carpenter, Stephen King movie. Uh, really, really crazy.
yeah,
Like just
Yes.
so crazy.
I,
Like I
I
don't know.
it's well, it's like I love the writer centric like fantasy things are coming to life like horror angle. It's just like
Yeah,
yeah,
that sort of basic premise of him like being like a Stephen King character, like I mean literally like him being a Stephen King-esque character,
yeah.
and like things just like
Like
the
he's based
page
Stephen
sort of
King. Yeah,
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 yeah, exactly. It's I don't know, I think like the simple concept of the thing is just like really it's just fantastic, and Carpenter really pushes it, and there's some like kind of wonderful things that happen in that film.
yeah. I wish I had a chance to watch it this week, but I had to go see the Odyssey 3 times. So I was like, in my head, I was like, I want to squeeze this in before the
Right.
podcast, and then I saw the Odyssey 3 times, and
No, seeing the Odyssey
I was
3
impressed.
times,
Yeah, I'm
worth it,
seeing it
I
again
imagine.
tonight,
Yeah.
so that'll be my third.
So, okay, no, you guys, we'll gotta talk
No,
about
we
the
We
still
have
have
Odyssey
we
to
have
see
second.
it.
stuff to
You tried,
do.
but we'll have another
Yeah,
opportunity.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
worry. Owen, you take it away. What else did you watch?
So me and Kevin, uh
Oh, true. We have like 3 weeks worth of vlogs. Yeah,
well,
we might just
oh,
have to do the highlights.
yeah, I wasn't gonna even go that far back, because well, I guess I was a little bit, but like,
Yeah,
we I there's not a lot. There's not a lot in here.
yeah. We didn't really have much movie watching time.
Yeah, we watched American Pie.
Yeah,
Um, I had
awesome
never
movie.
seen American Pie. But I'm a really big fan of American Pie star Jason Biggs. I think
Yeah,
he's wonderful as a performer, but I've never seen what he's known for.
yeah. The movie that made him.
American
Yeah,
Pie. And so we watched this after I don't know if we were working that day, but uh, after we
I
were
think that was just a
retired
nothing
still.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So but then we watched American Pie, and I quite liked it a lot. It's an interesting movie where um I keep going back to sort of this idea of how it's aged, and there's two ways to talk about that. There's a way to talk about like the sort of comedy and the sort of the political whatever of the text, but I think I'm more drawn to the way that it's aged as a motion picture, and it's kind of aged very well because movies suck now.
yeah,
Where
A little bit, yeah, right?
I'm watching this comedy movie that most people would think of as like sort of slop trash, and I'm
yeah,
like, wow, look at like the set design. I like we're in like this like this high schooler's room, and it is so beautifully constructed, and I can see everything in the room, and it's
yeah,
like wow, like there was like it's a really like people really put a lot of effort into this, and you can feel it, and it has like a texture, and it has its issues. It's not like a fucking formal masterpiece, but I just like kind of was really taken back by how much things have changed in a little time, in a way where like this it is as a simple basic little comedy movie, just that would it just does not exist in that form anymore. So yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It's silly fun, but it does feel like humans put a lot of effort and love into it, and you can feel that in a way where like if you made this with the exact same script today, it would be slapped on streaming and it would look a lot worse.
yeah,
So it is. I think American Pie is one of those cases where like it has just aged well because of the things have just gotten worse in terms of
Well,
movies.
it's like movies used to just be even like not that long ago, even like when American Pie was made, right?
Right.
Movies used to just be harder to make. And
Mhm.
because like the process has been so streamlined, it's easier to also just make you don't have to put as much effort in. It's not as much of a commitment, right? To
Right.
make a
Yeah.
movie.
American Pie, 1999.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
they
quite.
probably shot it on
Year I was born.
1999. They shot it on film. Like they
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's
yeah.
like it's crazy. It's quite crazy. But yeah, some cool stuff, and it just feels more. It makes me think of. And this was obviously a big cultural moment, but it feels more independent and small because of uh the sort of the way that things were being produced back then. Then I watched. This was sort of a like mid shoot study session to film watch. I watched Meanwhile, which is a 2011 feature by Mr. Hal Hartley. I think it's the last feature. I might be wrong. I might have one other one, but like it's one of the last features, or at least maybe the last feature of his that I had to watch. It's quite obscure in his sort of filmography. It's his I guess what would you call it? Because it's not. He's made two features since then. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
And it is his So this is 2011, and it seems relative. I think it was a Kickstarter project as well. His last three have been, or maybe, yeah, I think his last three, maybe four, have been sort of crowdfunded things, and it's yeah, it's like 1,000 logs. I rented this puppy on Vimeo. It's quite good. I think the sound score, the soundtrack, all that stuff is really lovely. I've been listening to it a lot since watching it. And it was just a really nice. I've been like trying to tap into a little bit of like these sort of as we just came from shooting in New York, these sort of super low budget on the ground like run around movies that were sort of shot in the city. So I sort of got some ideas from that. But it's yeah, it's a solid, not my favorite, but I think it's always interesting. I'm always interested in sort of looking at these sort of formally rich but very obviously low budget movies where it's like you can feel the sort of the technical messiness or the sort of unpolished nature of the production, and like the sort of but the pushing of the limits of those sort of restrictions, um in terms of, but it's still being so beautifully written and sort of wonderfully composed and stuff like that. So that film is quite good, I think. I mean, there's not really a bad Hal Hartley film. Then me and Kevin saw The Invite in the movie theaters.
What do you guys think
Uh,
about The Invite? Neither of you reviewed it, and you also weren't on the podcast for it. So what did you
right,
guys think
right,
Yeah.
about
right,
the
right.
movie?
Yeah.
Um, I think we just didn't
We can.
review it because we saw the movie and then we had to wake up the next morning at 5 a.m. So we had to
I mean,
drive
yeah,
back to my
you
house
guys
and
were
go
busy.
immediately to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We saw it kind of
But
late too.
yeah, we got out of the movie at like 10 and had to be
Yeah,
asleep right away. But we had thoughts.
yeah. We can do
Pretty
like a
positive
kind
one.
of
I
like
mean, Owen,
small
you
mini.
take it away. But
Yeah. I was kind of super excited about the film, but like unsure if like how much it would work for me because I find like sometimes there's movies that feel adjacent to this kind of movie that just like really don't hit for me. But I found that it played all the right keys for me, and in the way where like I never felt really sort of a like, oh, this isn't working for me. I felt like from the jump I was like really locked in, and I was like, oh yeah, this is like a real movie, and like I'm really liking this. I think the cast is lovely. I think it's really well directed, and it's super funny. Um, and I kind of like really love the. It's very like play. I just read
Well,
Doll's House yesterday.
it's
Um,
adapted from a play.
right, but
Yeah.
I think I was reading a Doll's House yesterday, and I was thinking a lot about the um the single room sort of and sort of that play being so like it's yes, this is so a play. We're in this room, people keep coming and leaving, and we're just staying here. And it's I love how that is adapted and sort of the staying to that truth. I remember when we watched the Fence, which I feel like never came out. That's
Yeah.
how
Well,
the Fence.
it
It
did
like
come out like a
right,
couple
but
months
like
ago, but in like 16 theaters or
I remember
something.
watching The Fence and feeling like, oh wow, this is such a play movie because it's so it stays so truthful. And that movie maybe even a little less than The Invite, but like you can feel the way that it's like plotted out that it is like meant for originally at a stage. It sort of remains truthful to that. Um, but I think too as well like uh interiors for me are very interesting because I think like they're difficult and it because of the limitations and I'm sort of very curious. I would love to sort of dive in if there's I don't know how much behind the scenes stuff they did for this movie, but like the sort of the way in which they navigated these sort of walls in these rooms is quite wonderful. But yeah, Olivia Wilde, there's a lot of sort of chatter about her involved in sort of awards talk and all that stuff for this movie. And I think it's really cool because it's just nice to see someone sort of bounce back in this way where like uh, everyone is sort of I never saw Booksmart. I know that was a sort of popular thing and people like that, but like don't worry darling was like everyone was like, "Oh, this is like garbage slop," like, and this is horrible, and we hate this, and it was a whole big dramatic sort of thing. And then this movie is sort of complete 180, like sort of reclaiming the sort of energy or something, and I think it's quite good. And she's having a really big year. I mean, I in the Gregor Rocky film, people say she's wonderful in that.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Um,
about that. I Want Your
so yeah,
Sex.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. She's having a there's a lot of talk about a lot of people having really good years. It's actually quite a competitive year for people like having a great year. Like there's just a
Yeah.
lot of people doing a
Yeah, when
lot
we
of
get
great
to the end
things.
of the year and we have to do that podcast, it might actually be
Right. Well, I
hard
just
this
I'm
time,
more
remember
but I feel like
yeah.
usually we all agree.
right. I
But
remember last year like it was pretty I think we did it was PTA. It was who
And
we
then the year
landed
before
on.
that it was Mukti Prom, and the year before that it was Wes
yeah,
Anderson, I think.
Okay, interesting. Yeah,
yeah.
but I felt like
There's just
some
like
of those
six
were some of
competitors
those
this
guys
year.
were like pretty like it felt like oh this sort of sentence is kind of obvious. Where I do feel like already in July, it's like we have a lot of people doing a lot of great things. And we'll I mean well, obviously it's a later conversation, but it
Yeah,
is
this year
quite
it might be
interesting.
the first time we give it to an actor this year, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
mean, there's
Yeah.
some actors with like 3 to 5 movies coming out
Right.
this year,
Yeah, I
so
also I mean, Tony comes out in a few weeks.
Oh, Matt
And like
Johnson?
Matt Johnson,
first
Yeah.
2 movies,
if
yeah.
Tony is
Yeah.
like really incredible, it's like that's kind of
That's gonna
like
be
that's
tough
a tough thing
competition,
to
yeah.
beat where it's like if you have like two heavy hitter directed movies, it's
Yeah.
like but yeah, I don't know. I just I think Olivia Wilde's having a great year, which is cool. I also like to me, everyone's so great in the cast, but like it's so lovely seeing Seth Rogen in a real movie. Like
Yeah.
he's so talented, and I guess Doug has something to say about that.
Well,
But
yeah, I no, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off,
no,
but
no,
I
no.
this is something I identified this on my solo
Yeah,
podcast about
yeah.
the invite, where I'm assuming neither of you guys listened to it, which is fine.
I listened to
Don't
the
listen
other
to it.
episode.
I
I
listened
didn't
to
listen
the
to
other
the
one, yeah.
Uh,
yeah.
but like something I identified about the invite was that it seems like kind of like a secret, stealthy Seth Rogen project actually, because of
Interesting.
how creatively in line it is with and Owen, I don't think you would notice this, but I was wondering if Kevin would have noticed it, how creatively in line it is with the TV show. Fuck, what's it
Yeah, the
Oh,
called?
studio.
oh,
The
the
studio.
studio.
Yeah.
It's Seth Rogen playing like kind of like on a similar tempo as his character in the studio, and also
Yeah.
it's the same cinematographer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's the same
interesting.
guy that shot every single episode of the studio shot this movie.
Yeah.
Cool, cool,
Um,
cool.
Wow. Not to mention Olivia Wilde was in the studio, no?
yeah, she was in an episode
Yeah.
of the studio. Yeah.
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 Yeah, well, I
So
want that there's sort of,
I imagine
that
that was
sort of
because they were working together on
right, and
this,
it's
but
Right.
like,
Yeah.
all right, it's like
um,
this guy's great. Let's bring this
yeah,
guy. Yeah, I mean that's how that stuff works and happens, and
yeah,
yeah, but I do
um,
think in general like I left the movie thinking like it's tough because like it's I think for a long time it's like been very obvious like oh yeah Seth Rogen good actor good
Mhm.
performer fun to watch on screen but like there's many a actor who we can sort of observe and understand that we like watching them, but then like 10 years goes by and you look at their filmography, you're like, whoa, I don't know how many of these are like really, really wonderful. He's obviously been great and in good things, but like this is a different sort of kind of thing for him to be in,
yeah,
which is nice. Especially also like he's in like the Fablemans and stuff like that, but like him to have this sort of he's very front and center of the piece,
yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, if it ends up being a big like awards player, then he'll be, he just did a whole award season with the studio, and then like this
Yeah,
movie right after. So
yeah,
he's
he's in a
he's
good sort of
back in the
period.
spotlight, in the prestige spotlight. Um, is
No
there
man,
anything else you wanted to talk about?
I saw the Odyssey twice.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah,
I won't add too much to the conversation. I also watched American Pie with Owen, but that I had seen that movie 20 times and I just wanted Owen to see it once. I watched The Invite as well. Think you summed it up pretty well. I would say that between that and Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, there is some steep competition for like nonstop laughs in
yeah,
the movie theater this year. Just like both movies that made me
which is
laugh from
great.
like
Like
beginning to end. Yeah,
I think
it's rare.
we're in like a weird. It's been a weird moment for comedy. It seems like for like a long time. But I
Yeah,
do feel like we are creeping into sort of a resurgence or some sort of like I don't want to say golden age, but just like a better time for
sure.
the comedy movies. I feel like
Yeah,
we're slowly. It seems like we're getting a couple more every year than we had in like sort of the 2020 early 2020s.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, I also saw the Odyssey 3 times, and then I did some catch up on another 2026 release, Blue Heron, which I
Mhm.
never got a chance to see in theaters.
Yep.
Um, that movie like fucking rocks. I just like I really like I thought early in the movie that it was like pretty technically brilliant, but maybe was not like totally registering for me. And then about halfway through the movie, there's like a jump in time, and the way that the movie is like framed is entirely different. And everything that happens from that point on just like kind of really crushed me, and the way that it puts in perspective like how the movie is dealing with memory and the past. And it's just it's a really fascinating watch, specifically because there's like the protagonist is a filmmaker, but it's also like very clearly in some ways autobiographical, and it's like
Right.
dealing with how you deal with this thing that happened to you through filmmaking, and not just like how you deal with it, but also accepting that like movies can help you, but they also like can't be the only thing that have like there's like limitations to like what movies can do for you.
Mhm.
Um and it was just, yeah, I don't know. It's just like a lot of it is maybe projecting onto the movie, but it's very well crafted, and then it like rips your heart out by the end. And I was really affected by it. And then yesterday, my girlfriend and I watched Wet Hot American Summer, and that was my first time seeing this movie, which is shocking. I'm kind of surprised that I had never watched it growing up, but yeah, I don't know what I was expecting, but I didn't expect it necessarily to be what like I thought it was kind of in the same vein as American Pie, which in some ways I guess it is. But it's also just like the whole movie you're watching it, and you can just kind of picture a group of friends just like having a lot of fun making a movie. Like it's a lot of bits where it might not even be funny to the audience, but you're like some people in a room like thought this would be dumb to like act out on screen. Like they thought it would be funny. And you could just almost like, it just like it feels like half the time you're watching like an inside joke, or like you're watching like a scene and you could picture in your head like the camera cutting and everybody on set just like laughing right after. Like, you know what? It's very contagious and it made me really happy where I'm like, even when the jokes aren't funny, there's just so much heart in it that I was like, this is like, I want to do this exact thing. Like, I want to make like the dumbest movie possible with a bunch of friends. And that's what it feels like when you're watching it. So I was very charmed by Wet Hot American Summer, a movie that I'm watching way too late for the first time. But yeah, that's what I watched. And then I saw the Odyssey 3 times in theaters, like we discussed. So we could get into uh a larger conversation about the Odyssey. I'll set the stage by um
Reading all
mentioning
of
yeah
the Homer in
how
in rhythm.
yeah, no, I'll read the Odyssey, or
Okay, you
we'll do
start
an
doing that.
audiobook really
I'll sit
quick.
down while you do that.
No, but I was gonna say just like incredible accolades and performance for a movie that we knew was going to be a big movie, but kind of undoubtedly the biggest movie of the year. Grossed $124.5 million domestically, 264 million globally this weekend, which makes it Christopher Nolan's biggest opening, surpassing The Dark Knight Rises. Insane. The third biggest opening for an R-rated film ever, only behind 2 Deadpool movies. The
That's
biggest
so crazy.
opening the biggest opening for a live action movie this year. It has an A cinema score, and Deadline reported that in the exit surveys that they conducted at the movie, people said that their number one reason for seeing the movie above any star in the movie was Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Woke wins.
It's just like insane,
Yeah,
kind
it
of.
was like on the surveys, they like hand you the paper and it's like there's a bunch of questions. One of the questions is like what's the or why did you see the movie or whatever? And they had like multiple choice and it was like 60% of people put Christopher Nolan. That's
Yeah, over the
crazy.
entire cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is just like, I mean, we're talking about the most star-studded cast in a movie in like how long? I don't know. Like, when's the last time there was this big of a cast?
Avengers,
Like,
dude. M's Endgame.
sure, yeah, like an Avengers movie, or like the
The
last Christopher
Oppenheimer.
Nolan movie, I
No,
guess.
this is
Yeah.
crazier than
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. But yeah, trying to think. Yeah, this is crazy. The last Wes
It is
Anderson movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
kind of.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
which
true.
is insane.
But it's just like,
No, actually, not the last. The one before that.
Yeah,
'Cause,
the one before that.
yeah,
the
sure.
last Wes Anderson was actually kind of tame.
Yeah, as far as cast goes. Yeah. But regardless,
No, I know.
insane that would be an audience response to a movie. I mean, I don't think that there's another
Yeah.
living director who could at this exact moment in time who could have that response.
Not at the
Yes,
scale. Not at the scale.
Right, for sure. But I think it's. I don't remember the last time I talked about this, but I do think like it is a perfect example of sort of our. I'm gonna use golden age again, but like we're in this sort of golden age of the director being the focus, and
Yeah.
people sort of the general audience in terms of the general audience being like, I want to
interested in
see that
directors,
guy's
yeah.
movie. I want to see that guy's next movie. And it like Christopher Nolan is the most popular guy doing it. And yeah, it's cool to see. I think like it's helpful and exciting that there's some guy out there that is able to sort of, I don't even know if push it is the right word, but do it. You know, there someone is able to sort of reach this level of audience by just doing the sort of whatever he wants to do. Really,
Yeah.
It's a
because
marketing triumph.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Which in
I
some
was
ways is
going
bad to me,
to
but yeah.
it's
Like,
what?
Which is bad to me in some ways, but
Oh,
it's
sure.
right,
also it's
but I
fun.
do
Yeah.
feel like it's sort of a little bit essential in sort of the current state of like someone needs to be
Well, go into
making
why
money.
it's bad, you think?
No, like for the marketing stuff, because so much I really I'm annoyed by the
The
which
tech.
I don't want to talk
Format.
about it very much. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
the format fetishism,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's all stupid.
I think it really annoys me because it has nothing, it kind of actually, despite what people will tell you, it kind of has nothing to do with the movie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
Well, so I
like
saw the movie twice
Yep.
in the Lincoln Square 70 millimeter IMAX screen,
which is
which
probably fucking awesome. It's
which
an
was
incredible movie
awesome, and
theater.
according to that same Deadline report, was the most profitable screen in the country or in the world actually for
It's like
this
the
movie.
hardest ticket to get
Um,
in the world right
yeah.
now. Yeah.
Well, I saw a tweet right before we started recording that there are people waiting outside the theater refreshing their app to see if tickets get refunded so that they could steal a ticket right before a showtime, which
That's
has
crazy.
anybody ever done that for any movie in history? Like
No.
it's just kind of crazy. But
People
yeah,
have lined up for movies before, but like not in this modern era of like
to
the
be waiting for
phone.
someone to
The
cancel their
yeah.
ticket so that you could steal like a last minute seat into a movie is like
Yeah,
is
that's crazy.
insane. But
Kind
that's
of
like
the only time it's been like, yeah, it's nice not to be in New York right now because like
no,
I had
yeah.
no problem seeing this movie
I
at
mean, when it was
all.
so when I saw it with friend, I saw it at like an early screening on Wednesday, and then the next day I went with friend of the pod Sophie to like a regular like audience screening,
Yeah.
um, and just like yeah, the atmosphere there is crazy. Like it's just, dude, we got there, we had met up at a bookstore down the street like right before the showing, and we were at this bookstore like an hour early, and Sophie was like, I want to get there early because I think they might not be showing trailers. Spoiler, they did show trailers, so actually we had to sit through like
That
30
would
minutes
be
of trailers.
fucked.
but
You
but
buy
she
a
thought
ticket
that
a
the
year
movie
in
was she
advance and
thought
they
that the
go
movie was going to
straight.
start at 2 p.m like on the dot, right?
Right.
No.
So we walk into the theater 30 minutes early
Like at
thinking that
1:30?
yeah, like at 1:30, and the line outside
Uh,
the IMAX theater for people to get in was already wrapped around all the way to the escalator. Like it was a full line 30 minutes before the movie started. And in my head I'm like that's cool. I'm also like that's kind of like is
It's
there
so
really any purpose
crazy.
for you showing up that early? Like you already have a ticket. So I don't but
I
but
will say
still
this movie theater you're talking about though is the
is for like freaks.
yeah, it's the movie theater at like the center of the universe basically.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's like this is where Tom Cruise saw the Odyssey, where he did his like
Yeah.
photo op where he was like go see
It
is
is.
like
Yeah.
yeah, you know, it's
But just insane
yeah.
environment there. Like watching a movie in that theater, I was like, yeah, this rocks. Like it was very cool. I saw it twice in that theater. I watched it once at home. I will say I was a little bit like nervous about watching it a third time, knowing that I had just seen it twice in that theater, and then I watched it on a normal IMAX screen, and I was like, this shit still rocks. Like that. Doug is in most ways, I think, right. Like I was watching it on a regular IMAX screen, and it is. You will have a good time. I'm sure of it.
I saw it in
You don't
Dolby.
have to.
I saw it
Yeah,
in
even
Dolby.
though
I saw
like
it and Dolby, the Dolby showing that I saw it in was in 1:9, which is what the smaller IMAX screens show it in. Or like 1:9 by 1 or whatever, you know it is. The aspect ratio, which is like a little bit shorter than like the full IMAX 70 millimeter one. But I feel very confident that that aspect ratio is going to be what the home releases on Blu-ray.
yeah,
And I feel very confident that that is what they shot it in. People will say they shot it in scope, right? But I think that they framed around 1:9 by 1. But here's the thing: it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. It's probably you know what I mean. It's
yeah,
like I really don't think it matters.
sure.
And I was sitting there in the movie theater thinking about it, and I was like, if you people watch movies in fucked up ways all the time, right? People watch like like cropped VHS rips of movies that are that were like semi lost before because they weren't remastered yet, and like they still love the movies from watching it like that in compromised way. It's like the a movie. There's so many parts to it, right? That you cannot. I don't know. There's like this one thing.
The
I saw
amount of compromise that you're talking about is like minimal.
Yes, I
Is what
saw,
yeah.
bro. I saw a letterbox review that made me so mad on the drive home because I was like buzzing. I was like, this is like it actually like blew my mind how much I like the movie. And this guy was talking about how like we're just destroying the frame and how like cinema is over because it does because like framing is we're post framing and the aspect ratio is beyond and we're just like bro it's just nothing but shallow focus close-ups or
Mhm.
whatever and like we don't think about the image at all and I was like this is like you think you're so smart but this is stupid like this is so stupid and you wouldn't say this if you were for the marketing right this is just like this is a response to the marketing not a response to the movie Anyways,
Yeah.
and
I
that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, and we could get into that, I'm sure. But I was gonna ask while we were on the subject of Nolan, and this might be too hard of a question to answer. Um, but I was just thinking in terms of like biggest director for the general public, but
Mm.
also all three of us like this movie. So very broadly, is it possible for you to answer what you think makes Nolan such a good director?
uh But what a question. That's such a funny question. Um, Nolan has a lot of funny sentiments. Do you have an answer to that, Owen?
I think it's kind of difficult for me to sort of wrap it on. I think I, I tweeted something about him being very similar to Ridley Scott, um, which I think like when I think about both of them as filmmakers, I think of scale. I think of
Yeah,
scale. I talked about scale in my review, and I think of when I think of Oppenheimer, I think of the Odyssey. I think of really big movies, and I think of we talk about cast. There's so many people. There's so many things, and when you hear about people talking about this movie, you they talk about we walked 30 minutes this way, and Christopher Nolan's walking right there with me, and he's on the camera, and they talk about how Christopher Nolan is working so hard that the actor feels inspired that they have to work just as hard because he's working so hard too, and he's getting something out of them because of that. And you feel it. You feel the difficulty in this movie. So I guess what I'm leaning towards in terms of his sort of what makes him singular and sort of a good director, I think is his sort of his almost battle with scale, his sort of fight with this sort of larger than anyone else is sort of trying or attempting to sort of capture. Um, and I think he you leave it and you feel like I feel like the Odyssey is quite interesting because in Oppenheimer, it feels almost as if he is in complete control the whole time, and the Odyssey feels like he has won a game of tug of war, where he is fighting with it the whole time, and in the end, he sort of he wins and he has the rope, but I think it is like the sort of almost the hardest challenge yet, and it is sort of messy and he's wobbly and he's fighting with it, but he does in the end he lands the ship, he pulls it off, he has the rope, and I think yeah, so for Nolan, I feel like it is he's doing challenges that one no one else has the opportunity to do, but also he is able to land and sort of complete these challenges and pull it off in ways where like I feel like there are a lot of parts where like I'm like this isn't working or I don't like this or I'm not crazy about this part, but at the end of it you sort of it does sort of come together in a way, and I do think like he has a it's very clear specifically with these last three movies. Like he has a sort of strong there is a strong through line and a sort of an artistic like very auteur statement and sort of he
yeah,
has things to say and these things are clear and these things there's a sort of it doesn't matter what kind of movie he's doing, he is able to sort of like it's the Odyssey, it's a very classic, everyone knows it sort of thing, but he is it's very this movie's very personal, and I think he does a really good job of weaving in no matter the subject, whether it's a sort of biopic movie about Oppenheimer or a Homeric epic. Like he's able to sort of get his sort of meat and bones in there, and I think he
yeah,
does that really well in this movie.
yeah. Uh, Doug, do you have thoughts?
Sorry, my face. I think that the biggest thing that makes Christopher Nolan so good now at the stage of his career compared to the earlier stage of his career, or like at the first 2/3 of his career, to me at least, is that, and I've said this basically like every time both of his on I said this during when Tenet came out, and I definitely may like oversaid it when Oppenheimer came out. He just he just assembled the Avengers. Like
Yeah,
truly, like, and I feel this, I felt this way even more watching the Odyssey than Oppenheimer, right? This is his like his key like technical collaborators of Jennifer Lame, Hoyte van Hoytema, and Ludwig
Ludwig Göransson.
Göransson.
Yeah,
Like those three guys, and obviously he has like other guys that are incredibly technically
yeah,
skilled. But, like those three key collaborators, you could make a very compelling and strong argument that they are not only the most technically able in all of Hollywood at the things that they do. You can make an argument that like currently they're the most technically able and experienced in the entire world at the thing that they do specifically. And I
yeah,
don't think that this was like, and for me, I was like, this is the I was like, Ludwig Göransson and Hoyt van Hoytema saved this guy's fucking life watching the Odyssey. I was like, this is unbelievable. While during like Oppenheimer, I was like, this is like the Jennifer Lane movie. I was like, this movie is such an editing triumph, you know.
yeah,
Uh, so yeah, I think that's like really what it is. Where it's like the I mean, fucking the score in the Odyssey is unbelievable. It's like the best
yeah.
score of any of
My
his
favorite
movies
part
to
of the
me.
movie.
It's
Yeah,
unbelievable. I like obviously
Yeah.
the score in Tenet is so great, and the score in Oppenheimer is so obvious. The thing about Odyssey is like it is so good, but like less obvious than Oppenheimer. Whereas Oppenheimer is almost a musical movie, right? Where it's like the score is like working in tandem with it, where it's like it's trying to call your attention to it. Where it's like, does that make
yeah,
sense? I always say like use the word obvious because I don't know how else to describe it. How the score is for Oppenheimer, but it's very good. It's good compositions, but it's like it's so obvious. The score isn't obvious in the Odyssey. You kind of forget there's even music playing sometimes, but it's like it's so the music is so incredible. It's
yeah,
unbelievable. And some of the images that they capture, it's like Jesus Christ. It's like Jesus fucking Christ, bro. They're on the water, and it's like that's the water.
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what I
Owen
mean?
made a
Like,
face, but this is the same guy who, when we were talking about the Devil Wears Prada 2, was like, "They're in New York, and it looks like New York." It's like, yeah, the water
No, I
does look
did.
like the water in the
It does.
Odyssey.
It
You're
does look like the
right.
water.
You're
I.
right, Doug. It
It
does.
does. It does look like the water. Yeah.
There's like there to put a cap to the Nolan conversation before we actually talk about the movie. There was like I don't even know what I was watching, but it was like some press thing with Anne Hathaway, and the way she said it was like the way she told this story was like kind of cringy to me. Like I was like, this is kind of embarrassing. But essentially, she told this story about like how somebody on set, I think of a different Nolan movie. Like I think it was on like The Dark Knight Rises or something. Like somebody on set was like being critical of themselves and like being self-conscious and being like, I don't think I'm doing my best work. And then like someone pulled them aside and was like, you're working on a Christopher Nolan
Right.
movie, which
Right.
means you're
Right.
one of the three best people in the world at your job. And I was like, that's
Yeah.
kind of a cringy thing to say to somebody, but also like I think it's a testament to what both of you guys were saying, which is that like that's true of that like that probably is just true of everybody involved in a movie like this,
Yeah.
and then for him to be able to manage that and like for it all to be
Yeah.
able to come together is
You
like
know,
pretty brilliant.
he does a. I mean, to go off what Doug said, like I think, like, and kind of what I was saying, like he does a very good job of bringing in really great people, but also knowing, like, identifying talent in the
Yeah,
first place, right? But also getting what he wants out of them, because
yeah,
you could very easily bring all these people together and just get bad performances or just different perform, like all these things going in different directions. And but there is almost there, it's playing, there's this sort of mystical nature to Christopher Nolan that, like, he almost
yeah.
doesn't even have to do stuff sometimes, and people, like,
yeah.
there's
He
this
like
thing where,
inspires
where it's
people.
like there, people will talk about like where he doesn't say, like, he's not saying perfect to everybody, and so like when he says perfect to Zendaya and Tom Holland sees that, he is
Yeah.
automatic. That Tom Holland is oh, I gotta do better for Christopher Nolan. I gotta try to get that perfect. And there's this like sort of like wise old master, please, like
Yeah.
tell me
It's like
I'm
it's like,
doing a
it's
good
like playing for
job.
Greg Popovich.
I was gonna
Right?
say, yeah, it's like Greg Popovich. No, it
It's like
requires a certain level of respect, right?
right. There
Yeah.
is everyone is like
You can't let the team down.
I am yeah, exactly, and it's like I
You
am on
got you
this
got to make the extra pass, you know?
right. I am
Like if one of
here.
us were on set directing this cast in the Odyssey, like
They'd be like,
every single
fuck
actor
this
would tell
guy,
us to
yeah.
kill ourselves, you know? But it's like,
Yeah, no, but it is like there is like this level of like, and it's because it's so big. It's
Yeah.
and I think because Nolan is right there with the crew. I think it was Matt Damon talking about they're all getting splashed by like these waves and stuff, and Nolan's right there getting as wet as everybody else. And I think
Yeah.
so it's a combination of this guy is sort of this titan of cinema and these people's eyes, but he is also he's right there on the front lines fighting with everybody else, and you have no real choice other than to sort of be eternally grateful, but also I personally, it's like you have to bring your best every day, and there's sort of a floor raising that is being done to everybody where it's like everyone's there's a sort of healthy competitiveness almost where it's like everyone is like not let you don't want to let Chris Nolan down, right? Like it's like you
Yeah.
don't want to be the person to let Chris Nolan down. And I think it really it gets the best out of a lot of people. Like there's a lot of people in this movie who are really great, and they're really really great in this movie. And I think a lot of that has to do with like this sort of understanding of I'm on the Odyssey directed by Christopher Nolan, and this is
Yeah.
going it's going to be a big deal. There's a lot of movies where it's like I'm doing this movie, I hope it'll turn out good, but it's like you're on this movie and you're like what's going to happen,
Right.
that this is going to be a big fucking deal, and it is a big fucking deal before anything is shot or anything happens.
Yeah.
It's just unlike anything else.
Yeah.
No matter the quality of the film or whatever, it's unlike anything else that sort of exists in the industry,
Yeah.
which is quite cool.
I think it's also like mixing all of these things with doing stuff that like I don't know, it's like mixing all this talent with doing stuff that is just like appealing to audiences still in a way that like nobody else is doing, where it's like the Odyssey does just have moments where it feels like you're watching like a superhero movie,
Oh
and
yeah,
like only like it's like I was talking this morning about the scene when like they open the gates of Troy, and it's like John Bernthal and Matt Damon screaming, and it's just like that's some stuff that like get like the guy who only
hype
watches like the
and aura
Avengers in
moments. Yeah.
theaters is like getting hyped at that scene, or like, and it's the same thing in Oppenheimer. Like that's the kind of thing that like makes like a biopic feel exciting for somebody who goes to the movies once a year. And it's like being able to mix all this talent with like these like just very blockbuster moments is like
Right.
um I think kind of hard to pull out, like in a way that it actually works. Like you watch
Yes.
this stuff and you're like, yeah, I am excited. Like this is
I
just like hype moments and aura, but it's like
yeah. I think that
really well done.
I think that's a good point to make. I think in terms of like what makes Christopher Nolan, because his sensibilities really are attractive to the wide audience. In terms of like all on my Twitter, I see is Agamemnon.
Agamemnon.
It's
Agamemnon.
just like him and
It's
his
actually
like sort
crazy
of
that Doug was the one to pronounce it correctly.
but it's all about fucking, and it's like Benny Safdie under there,
Yeah.
and
I did
it's
my
like
homework.
but it's all about like how like fucking cold and full of
Dude, I
aura
mean,
he is.
yeah, like or like at the end when he does the like when he's like bringing them vengeance and he's like bringing it all.
Yeah.
It's just
But like
this only works because it's like in his movie.
right, it's just I don't know. I think it was funny because I think I remember when that trailer came out, or like we first look at him, everyone's like, "What the fuck is this goofy like 3D printed helmet thing?" And then post the movie, everyone's like, "This is the coldest motherfucker who's ever lived." It's just like, I don't know. So I think Christopher
Yeah.
Nolan does a really good job of like what I don't know what you would even call that, but sort of leaving a lasting impact on like that character is barely in the movie, and
Yeah.
it's all I'm seeing is people talking about how like he's fucking
Right.
sick.
I mean, true for a lot of characters, like
Right, which is
people
natural
that are
when you
barely in the
have
movie leaving a
900
massive
characters,
impact.
and
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is a big thing too. Like I think like I did say this like during the disclosure day, and it's a movie I like as well. But I felt like there's a lot of characters and people in this movie, and I felt like I wish like people who came in the movie for 2 minutes left more of an impact on me. Where like there's people that like Zendaya is like barely in this movie. I mean, it's like Zendaya obviously, but like she's bringing something. She comes in, it's like okay, this is like a there's I love there's a great it's like they just ate the cows, and
Yes.
they're walking and Zendaya like sort of like oh am I like am
Yeah,
I
shows.
getting
Yeah.
okay? Am I back?
No, you're good.
No, jeez.
Who can say?
Hello.
Yeah, we
Hello.
can hear you.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay.
We cannot see
You
you
know
though.
the shot I'm talking about when
Yeah.
Zendaya like sort of slides in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like it's so I think it's such a stronger moment because it's like Zendaya. Like there's
Right.
like almost like the star power. This is like I don't know, there's like a lot of criticisms of like it being very Hollywood, but I think there's like a fun like it's kind of
Yeah. I think it works
you
sometimes and
do
doesn't work other
Yeah,
times.
I
agree.
agree, Kevin. I agree.
I agree.
Like I think there are some people where it's like you didn't
But
need this big of an actor in this role, but then other
I
people
do
where you're
think
like, yeah, of course, like Zendaya.
I do think Zendaya works really well in terms of
I
like
agree.
her being like very recognizable and sort of immediately like this is like an important thing you need to be like focusing
Who's
on.
your favorite? And I'll say this also. I think I'm separating the quality of like you can have a good performance and still be somewhat miscast in the role.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So I think
Interesting. All right, all right,
that's
all
my-
right.
yeah.
I was
So-
gonna just ask like broadly like favorite performances or character. I mean, because we could list more than one. Like
Well, I was
think
gonna
it's
say,
kinda
like,
hard to like.
Who do you think is the best casting and the biggest miscasting in the movie?
Interesting. Okay.
Because I think like a
Oh,
miscast,
wow.
I think you could be miscast and still have like a good performance. Which I
Sure.
think that the obvious one is. I think it's the case for the obvious one in the movie.
Oh, I don't know
Um,
what you
That
think is
is
the obvious
what
one.
is it? What are you saying?
I think there's a casting that
the
we could all
best
agree
performance
we
that's
would.
miscast.
Well, I think okay. Tom Holland, I think, is miscast, right?
Okay,
But
okay, oh, okay.
I
That's what
think
you're
Tom
saying.
Holland has a good performance in the movie. I think Tom
Fair.
Holland is good in the
I
movie,
think
but I think
don't
he's
even know that
miscast.
he's. I don't even know that I would say he's miscast. I think it's like the
I
thing
would
is
say
like I
he's
don't think his
cast well and he has a
performances.
bad performance. I'd say the opposite. I like
That's
like
Oh, yeah.
interesting.
I feel
Okay.
like he's
I would say that he's
reasonably
cast well and he has a fine performance. I
That's
This
think
is
he.
interesting.
I think
Okay,
he.
we're all over the place. This is interesting.
Yeah.
I think he's fine. I think he's
there is
fine. I
one
just,
scene
like,
that I think he's perfect for.
I think he's good in the movie. I think the movie would have
Right.
benefited from having not be Tom Holland a little bit.
Who?
But
Who do you think would be like? Do you have any like? Is there any name that kind of comes at you like where like oh that would make better sense?
no, maybe somebody that wasn't like 35. I don't know. Like
He's not 35, but you are saying like maybe like an 18-year-old
yeah, maybe like a younger person that
Right.
isn't.
like Noah Jupe.
I mean, he might be too young, right? How old is Noah Jupe?
No, he's
But
like 20.
21.
sure, yeah. Actually, that's a good call. Like Noah Jupe, I think would have been good. But I think like yeah, I don't know, like somebody else. I think Tom Holland was
I know,
fine in the movie though.
Tom Holland's very like
I think-
boyish to me.
I think
still.
he-
Like,
I
that's
think
just, like,
he
that's, like,
fits
a
the
young
role
guy.
well.
Interesting.
Um,
Okay, then
I
who
think-
do you think is the okay?
I was thinking though. I don't know. Maybe you guys disagree. I was thinking like the easiest person to pick on as far as casting goes that all of us would I think be comfortable replacing is John Bernthal.
I think John Bernthal's good in the movie. I
I
think
know.
John
I don't think he's bad in the movie.
No,
I
but I
just,
was
like-
thinking this is so funny because I was thinking
I don't think
that
anybody's bad in the movie. Actually, can I say that?
I don't think anybody's
think
bad in the
anybody's,
movie
like,
either.
bad.
I
Bad,
But,
like,
I
yeah,
think there
bad,
are people.
bad.
There
like,
are
I don't
people that
think
we would
so.
replace. I don't think anybody is bad in the movie.
I think
here's my
that's
thing.
fair.
When I was thinking about this, I was like, oh no, John Bernthal is kind of perfect. A
I
little
think there's
bit.
like parts, I guess. There's like well, that scene I was talking about, like when they're in Troy, I think John Bernthal makes a lot of sense. Like I think
Yeah,
John Bernthal
sure.
with a helmet on, like John Bernthal in battle, makes a lot of sense. When he gets like time to monologue for like 2 minutes, I'm like, yeah, this probably could be somebody else. Like
I don't know because he has like this energy of being like he's this asshole veteran. Like he's this
Yeah.
war veteran with a
Sure.
lot of
Yeah.
power now. That's kind of like not a good guy. And the way that
Sure.
like every fucking character in the Homeric epic is, right? But
I,
he's like the Western version of that guy, and I think
Sure.
he fits that really well.
I think Bernthal does, like, again, I don't think there's anything egregious in anyone's performance. I think Bernthal is fine. I just think when we're talking about this sort of idea of like you come in like for 2 minutes and you really steal the show, I
Mhm.
just think that someone else could have just done more with it.
Sure,
Where like
yeah,
I
someone
think he's like
theoretically could have been better. Yeah,
I think like it's just a big it's a big enough role where I feel like miscast feels too harsh, but I feel like there's definitely like we definitely could have went a little heavier there, and it could have
Yeah.
made the movie so much more like amazing.
So so is the person that you would pick on instead of John Bernthal Mia Goth?
we got this in one scene. You
It
can't
feels
even say like
I,
she's.
she's
Well,
kind
I'm
of
just trying to see.
great.
I just want to know what your answer is.
I thought you said Tom Holland.
Oh, Tom Holland, I guess. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Mine would be Charlize Theron. I would say
Yeah.
that like
No, what?
I would
I've seen
I don't
people say
think she's
this. I don't get it.
bad. I don't think she's bad. I just think like that's like a good chunk of the movie, and it's kind of like she's the only person talking to Matt Damon there, and I was not left being like really crazy about her.
I think she's. I think that she's doing exactly what the movie
Is
requires
asking
that
her
character to
to.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
There's a
think
couple
like
Maybe just
people. There's a couple
which
people
might
who
be a
can't
fault
be
of just
better
the
because
movie.
they're just thankless roles. Like they're just like roles where you
Sure,
have to do what's
like
being at. Like that's like kind of the position she's in.
sure.
any
Which just
other
might
person.
might just be the fault of the movie.
Any well, but no, I don't think it's a fault in the movie. I think it's
It
perfectly.
just is what
Yeah,
it
it's just
is.
is
No,
Yeah.
what it
no,
is.
I think it's
Because
not great. I don't think
no,
it's
that's
great.
what do you mean? That's what the character has to be. I don't know. Like that's like what Calypso has to do is like be Charlize
Okay,
Theron in this
then it
movie. Like
could
I
be
don't know.
better. I think it could be better.
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Do you have an idea for who you would have rather it been?
Me?
Yeah. Well, you're the one that
Well,
doesn't like it. Yeah.
people were like throwing things because there was like people talking about this on Twitter, in terms of like other um Nolan women, and people were saying Florence Pugh, and I'm not very
I don't
serious
know
about
if I
this
would have
answer.
preferred
Well,
that.
me either. I was not very serious about this answer, but I did say Emily Blunt on Twitter. But I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
like
Charlize
I'm not
Theron is.
super like
I think
uh
Charlize Theron is already broadly a better performer than both of those people. What?
I don't know if I don't know if I'd say
I,
that, but
I don't know.
I do think she makes more sense for this role
And that's the other thing where like
than
this role,
both of
Sure,
those two
Calypso,
people.
sure.
where
I
Calypso's
don't
like
know that Emily
I
Blunt would
don't
make
think
it. Like I don't know that I would rather it be Emily Blunt either. I'm like that's like I don't think that would fit very well. I think if you put Emily Blunt in that position, you'd be complaining the same way that you are
maybe.
about Charlize. I think you'd be saying the same thing.
and I think the Florence Pugh is just kind of like that turns
I
into
don't
just an
agree with
actual
Florence Pugh.
miscast.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um
but regardless,
the reverse of your question, what you started with, which is like your favorite, was it who fits the best
that's the
or like
thing.
your
Like
favorite
casting and
performance?
performance are better. I will say like the best performance. I feel like we could all probably agree is probably just Anne Hathaway as Penelope. Where
Oh,
she has like the biggest
I would have
performance
said Matt
moment,
Damon
or Matt
maybe.
Damon. He's the main character, right?
Yeah.
I think the best casting for me though is Zendaya as Athena, where I think it
Interesting.
works so well.
I think for me, this is like a little bit deeper down the cast, but the person who I've been talking about the most since the first time I watched the movie is Himesh Patel.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah,
talking about
Himesh
him
Patel.
nonstop. Like, um, I, yeah, I don't know. I just think he makes so much. There's a couple people in the movie that I think just makes so much sense. There's another one that like only I care about, which is what's his name? Ryan Hurst as mentor. I'm just like, yeah, that looks like what that guy's supposed to look like. Like that just makes a lot of sense. But yeah, Himesh Patel is just like a knockout for me.
I think
Casting.
to me, like some of my favorite moments of the movie are all because of Mr. Robert Pattinson. I think like he
Sure.
has some all-time line readings, and I almost like I find myself wishing to be back on Ithaca just so I can watch him and Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
Because I think they're both like so like my favorite shot of the movie is when Anne Hathaway and Rob are having their sort of like he's coming onto her a little bit, like, or like attempting to, and you're looking through the thing she's weaving and the
Mhm.
lights
Yeah.
coming in. I was like, oh, this is actually like a really beautiful image where I feel like I'm not crazy about a lot of the sort of image making in the whole film, but I think that I kind of like the it felt very directed in a way that was like quite beautiful. But yeah, I mean, Rob, uh, he's having a lot of fun. He's having a lot of fun
Yeah.
with this role. It's a
As he
very,
always does.
it's very alley oop to him to sort of like really. Uh, there's almost it's also like there's one scene where I don't know, like all of his scenes are really lovely, and he sort of has a chance to be sort of like really slimy. But I think one scene where he's actually like it's him being slimy by almost being like fake good guy is where the dog is getting like the shit kicked out of him, and Corey Hawkins' character and Tom Holland get into a fight, and he looks at Penelope, and he's like, okay, let me take a hand, let me be the stepdad that stepped up here like really quick and like handle this situation. But he's so like sort of manipulative in the whole way and sort of a real asshole. It's I think that it's such a small little scene, but it's such a wonderful character moment for everyone involved. um I think it's quite wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there okay, so if we were just casting aside
Yeah.
like favorite performances, period, what would you guys say? Would you rather do like favorite performances aside from the big three? Because that's like obvious.
So by the big three, are you
You mean
saying Matt
Matt, Tom,
Damon, Anne Hathaway,
And
and
Tom
Tom
Holland.
Holland?
Which
So
yeah.
I already said, like, I think that probably Anne Hathaway is the standout for me out of like the main characters. She has like
Yeah.
the scene at the end where we're gonna spoil this whole movie. It's also the Odyssey, so
It's
you
also the
know,
Odyssey,
it's
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But like when Telemachus and Penelope, after Odysseus comes back, but before Odysseus reveals himself, and Telemachus is telling Penelope like, "Hey, you have to remarry."
right.
That is just that's like the scene of the movie. That's the performance scene of the movie where Anne Hathaway is
Oscar
just
clip.
like, gets where it's like that's her moment. That's where she gets to like you know prove acting chops or whatever. That's like that's of the whole movie. I think that's why I kind of see Anne Hathaway as like, but also Matt
Yeah.
Damon's so good. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But I think for a smaller role though, what sticks out is Elliot Page when they're in Hades. Elliot
Yeah.
Page's
That's a
conversation,
great
like,
scene.
uh, that's crazy, man. It's so
He's got when he's
nuts.
got
Yeah.
like the mud all over him, like it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To I'd struggle to land on one, but I feel like the people that I've been talking about the most are Himesh Patel, like I said. Elliot Page is very high on that list. I know Owen kind of like didn't care as much for it, but I like Samantha Morton a lot.
Well,
Um,
here's my thing.
I like John Leguizamo a lot.
John is I think John is like up there for me.
Incredible.
Like
Yeah.
he's so good at like because he's playing blind the whole time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I think he's really wonderful. But my thing with Samantha Morton is it's like they kind of set her up in like kind of a bad way. Where like
When
they're
they
like
when they like released the thing that everybody applauded
well, they
her
were
at
like,
like the
yeah, they're like
screening.
they applauded after the thing, and then I watched the movie, and I'm like, this is a good performance. That like the movie, I felt like the movie kind of hated some of the not like hated feels like a wrong way to say it, but the movie definitely is not edited in a way that like it's like allowing some of these performances in my mind to be as powerful as it may have been on the day. Where like when Samantha Morton is doing her stuff, it's very clearly that she's doing a good job acting, but it's cutting back to Matt Damon so much that I felt like the rhythm of what she was doing was being sort of interrupted. Where if like it lingered a little longer on her, I could have felt more of the emotion that she was sort of creating there. So like again, like I don't think the performance is bad, but it's like being I think Seth said it was his favorite performance of the movie, and people like were like, "Oh, this is like the best performance in a movie since like or Christopher Nolan movie since Heath Ledger. And so I'm like going into it a little bit with that sort of in mind, and then it happened. I'm like, this is a good scene, this is a good performance, but I didn't leave the scene feeling like moved mountains or anything like that.
Sure.
And I do feel like partially, like I talked to Sophie about this a little bit, like I just do think the editing was working against Samantha Morton in that scene.
Yeah. I think that's
But again, I think it's a good performance. I just
Maybe it's a good performance. I think that the scene is very strong though. That section
yeah,
of the
it's
movie
a
is
good
very
scene.
strong.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. It's up there. I mean, I was gonna ask separately what our like favorite scenes are because I don't know that we're gonna talk about like every scene in a 3-hour movie, but
I like when the dolphins, yeah.
oh, did you see the thing today that they
Yeah,
said
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
the dolphins were just like just
Well,
showed up on the
but
day?
that's I think to me that's like
Makes
I think
sense.
that's a big part of why I like this movie because it many times does feel like a $250 million independent film, and the way we're like, oh, we're just like on this boat capturing dolphins, and it's like by
Yeah.
chance, and it is like I said with the Devil Wears Prada thing, where it's like you do feel like it's a whole different thing, but like you do feel the human hands here. Um, and like I got like people yelling at me for focus polling on Twitter, and like I pointed it out, but also like there is something beautiful in the sort of imperfections of this huge ass movie.
Yeah, this is what I
Um,
was gonna yell at you about. I was like the
no,
focus pulling thing. I was like, that's a good part because it gives texture to the movie. I'm like, they could have done another. They could have
it's
afforded the film to do another take to get it more
sure.
correct. But like,
I don't think it's like necessarily. I think the focus. I'm not a crazy about the sort of idea of some of these things, but I do enjoy and sort of have a fascination with the sort of messiness of this film. Like I said earlier, it does feel like this one battle of tug of war where like it does feel like a difficult movie to make. It you can feel that, and I think there's like when you watch the new when Doomsday comes out or whatever, that's going to be another like 100 200 or whatever it's called, $300 million movie where it's going to feel computer generated in a way, or it's going to feel
yeah,
very made in post on sound stages that like people had it wasn't that it was hard for some people, but also like the camera doesn't feel like it had to work, or like you have these photos of these guys carrying the cameras on like up mountains and stuff, and the movie feels like
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 that
everyone
happened.
was beat to shit and it
yeah,
was
Yeah.
exhausting, and that's it, and it reminds me I don't know if I said this in the group chat or not, but it reminds me of like the imperfections of a film that came out in the 40s or 50s where it was like what they were doing was really fucking hard and you can feel it,
yeah,
and big
Yeah.
movies you don't feel that really anymore, and this movie because of the technology that they're pushing and because of I could really argue that like the pros of the technology are really not worth it, but because it was so fucking hard you can feel that in the movie, and to me that's like sort of really wraps like why I'm sort of drawn to it, because I'm like I don't really I'm like the editing I'm like not crazy about the images I'm like whatever, but you can feel that everyone just like climbed up this fucking mountain and there's something beautiful about that, that I think like it's just a rare, and I don't really have any other there's no really other touchstone for that in terms of the last 20 years or whatever.
yeah, yes. This is why I got so annoyed by that letterbox
Okay,
review
right.
that I said earlier because it's like it's ignoring the fucking movie. Listen, if this movie, let me tell you something. This
Yeah,
movie
Sean
with
Bernthal.
with the same setups and the same production design and the same shots, right? And everything, right? The same setups as but instead of the IMAX camera, it was shot with the Nokia, like the Sony phone that they shot Dryleaf with. The movie's still unbelievable. The movie's still so I'm serious. I'm
Dude,
so serious, right?
imagine
It's
the
it's it's I mean it's so different, right? But it's still it's like it's fucking unbelievable still,
that'd be
right? It is still
awesome.
unbelievable. But the thing is like the fucking like the perforations to get the most resolution is like that shit does not fucking matter.
Right,
It really
right.
really does not matter even like even a little bit, it doesn't matter, but it's what you're talking about, right? Where it's like the challenges of working with such a large format, the largest theoretical format, the largest format that we have created for filming,
Yeah.
right? The problem with shooting in such a large format, the technical limitations, right? Like that friction is what created so much of the magic in the movie, right? The fact that is the movie is not good because it was shot with IMAX,
Right.
but because they shot with IMAX, it gave them the problems they had to overcome
Right.
to make the movie better than it would have been otherwise. And I really do feel that way. It's very
Yes.
romantic, and it makes me think of like, again, not to be annoying, but like of like Richard Fleischer movies, like The Vikings, shit
Mhm.
like that, where it's like, they had a 35 millimeter camera or whatever, like they're shooting an Academy 35 or VistaVision or whatever, and they went out by the water and it was tough as shit, and they got movie stars in sword and sandals and they had
Yeah.
to make shit work. It reminds me of stuff like that. It's very romantic. And I
Right.
cannot believe I was sitting there watching the Odyssey thinking like, fuck, this is like what you're saying. Like this is like a movie from the 40s kind of. This
Yeah.
is unbelievable.
I think what happens too, like with these big ass movies, is creativity is not allowed to be born out of limitation because you have all the resources in the world. And like Nolan could have totally made so many sort of there's so many choices he could have made to make life easier for everybody. That would
Yeah.
have resulted in a worse movie. And I think, I mean, I talked about American Pie earlier, but like I think we talked about the sort of the decline of the cinema, and a lot of that has to do with shortcuts. You take a shortcut here, you take a shortcut here, you take a shortcut here, save a little money here, right? And then the product worsens. And I think Nolan is very like there's Nolan will talk about like, yeah, Soderbergh will call me and he'll be like, why don't we just make a little one this time, like make a smaller one this time. But Nolan is very conscious of what is on the table here, and he says something along the lines of like, I'll have the rest of my life to make smaller ones, but right now I have the opportunity and the privilege that no one else has to be able to do some of this stuff. And I there's almost this like obligation to attempt the never attempted before. And when and all sort of reality, he totally could have just done something a little less difficult, just a little less difficult, and everyone would have had a little easier. But I think yeah, again, you feel it, and it's quite fascinating. I think like it's an interesting. There's a lot of conversation about sort of what will Nolan do next and all those things, but I think I'm not really worried about him in the slightest in terms of I feel like he sort of has the sort of crazy I'm gonna just push myself thing when no one needs him to do that. He sort of is driven by that, and he seems to sort of that's sort of his life mission is to sort of push himself, which is good. I think like again, like I sort of said this earlier, we need someone like that, even if the again the movie or whatever is not you have issues with it or whatever. I think there's it's such a nice. I'm glad that he's doing what he's doing and it's being sort of rewarded in some sort of way because it's I think it's good for the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, in all
Yeah.
sorts of ways. I think it's a good game for the industry in all sorts of ways. But it's
Uh
fascinating.
yeah, I wanted to I mean we talked about the cast. I wanted to mention, I guess, some of what Doug was talking about, which is just like the big names in the crew, but I guess we've already kind of
Right.
talked about them at least a little bit. I said earlier when Doug mentioned it, and I kind of like have stood by it with every rewatch that like to me the Ludwig Göransson score is like just kind of far and away the best part of this whole entire movie for me. I think
Why?
like from like a tech like technically speaking, I just like it every single time I've watched the movie, it has stood out so much. I can't remember the last time that I have like been that blown away by the score in like a major movie like this. Um, I don't know, because it feels like something that we talk about uh, in most of these like
Right.
big blockbuster auteur projects. But to me, this is like I just like every time I've watched it, I'm like, this is the best part of the movie to me. I don't know if that's a crazy thing to say, um,
He
but
sure still loves to mix that
that's
shit like crazy.
that's how how I felt.
No, bro, we were watching it in Dolby, and it was like we were watching the movie inside of a vibrator. It was insane.
Yeah.
Like
Well, like towards the end, I every theater I've watched it in, of course, like whatever it is when they're like, I guess it's like the final fight,
Yeah.
like dude, you're fucking like your chest is vibrating down to your asshole, dude. Like
no,
I like it's
literally.
literally like that, like every single like 2 seconds, like it's fucking tickling my butt, dude. Like it's crazy. It's like your full body vibrations. It's pretty special. Yeah. It was, especially in that Lincoln Square IMAX theater. Like I like that it felt like I was on a fucking roller coaster. Like um it's a lot. Yeah.
Uh, I'll say okay. Homer. Do you guys fuck
Mhm.
with Homer? This is what
Yeah.
I was sitting in the movie theater and I was thinking about how like I was like, oh man, I might not like it. You know, I was like, I'm so high. I really, really do love Tenet and Oppenheimer, and I've said like I think Nolan's in like one of the most creatively like it's like in the most creatively interesting and exciting part of his career because Tenet and
Yeah.
Oppenheimer are so like crazy challenges
Yeah. And
and
you thought
really
the Odyssey would like detract from that.
I was like, the Odyssey's kind of boring for him, and I was like, I don't know, uh, it's kind of like a tough thing to translate into like a Western movie,
Yeah.
um, and I was sitting there in the movie theater watching, and I was like, I'm an idiot, bro. Like literally, like 15 minutes into the movie, I was like, this Homer shit is the coolest thing ever, and I just forgot. I
Yeah.
just forgot how awesome this Homer stuff is. Even like this kind of like stripped down, trying to make Homer naturalistic. I'm like, it's still so awesome. It's still so awesome.
Yeah. I think a
Like
lot of those decisions I'm just a really big fan of. Like the more naturalistic stuff.
I think that this movie is unbelievable. This movie's like actually like a fucking like 100 million billion miracles because you're right. It shouldn't be. Like it is and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't like being like I'm gonna make naturalistic Homer. I'm like you're boring and annoying. But then you watch the movie and you're like these are the most beautiful fucking creative screenplay decisions that you could have
Yeah.
ever made. And you it's not like you landed the plane. It's like you landed the space shuttle. It was like you
Yeah.
landed the space shuttle on Mars. That's how delivering like these ideas in the script is to me. Like this is unbelievable. Like this movie's actually like this. I'm like the screenplay. I can't even. How the fuck did they write this? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like what the
Well,
hell?
they had something to work off of
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
for
but
starters.
like how like but you know what I mean? Like the way
No,
that
I get what
like
you're
they
saying.
translate it.
What is like the idea that like stands out as the most profound to you? Is that like too hard to pinpoint?
Well, it's so many
Is
things.
there like a specific thing that really
Translating the
got you?
gods, like the way that they translate the Homeric the gods,
Mhm.
who in the poem in the epic poem are like
Yeah.
characters, you know.
Like present,
Yeah,
yeah, and
like
then
are
in
like
this movie, it's more
characters
like
with
yeah.
like explicit thoughts and feelings, kind of like Athena is in this movie, right? Even though
Yeah.
they turn Athena into a symbol, which is
Yeah.
good. Again, that's like the strongest single.
That's
Yes,
my favorite
yes,
screenplay
that's
decision
this.
of the
Yes,
movie. That to me is like
like truly like brings
knocks
the
it
whole
out of the
movie into
park.
a bow. But
Like,
that's so
yeah,
obvious, right? Unbelievable though. But like
yeah,
trying to translate the gods into like how like into oh Poseidon's mad at us, right? And it's the oceans are carrying us away, and how in the movie they kind of communicate that so clearly, and it's like how oh it's Zeus's winds, and how they give like these natural things like human feelings in a way that makes perfect sense. You know that makes perfect
yeah,
sense. It doesn't feel corny, right? To me at
yeah,
least, but maybe it's because I'm an old man now and I would have thought it was corny when I was a kid. But you know, it makes perfect sense and it doesn't feel corny at all to like to
yeah,
put these human emotions into these natural things. It's unbelievable. And also like the structure of we're bouncing around, right? It's like a story of a story. It's kind of like what
mhm,
is
yeah,
is what the structure of the film is, and that's where like the editing decisions lend itself to. I think this movie should have been longer. I think that
Yeah.
him being beholden to the limitations of the plate size for the IMAX 70 millimeter plate size, where it can't be over
Yeah.
3 hours long because the plate's not big enough. Uh, I think we've talked about already about how these limitations of the format are a big reason why the movie is so great. I think
Mhm.
it's like fuck it, bro. If they can't make a bigger plate, split it over two showings. Make an intermission where they have to
Right,
fucking
right.
like change out the
Make it
goddamn,
6 hours.
like
Yeah.
literally where they give us an intermission where they have to change out the film. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like fuck it.
I
That movie would have made a lot less money.
agree.
But yeah.
I agree in the sense of like I do feel like I feel this way with Oppenheimer probably too, but like I think I think I desire it more here where like I do find the sort of weight of the time that has passed and the sort of the weight of being lost and sort of being physically in the wrong place that you are not wanting to be at. um I don't fully feel that as strongly as I would like to because of how fast we are jumping from thing to thing, and I wish we were able to linger a little more in these places, and really just give a moment to, or not even a moment feels like I want more. I just want minutes of breath, where I think like the actual dialogue and script, I don't have any issues with. I just want us to sort of be able to exist in these spaces for longer. And it sort of is the sort of style of this Jennifer Lame Nolan collaboration. It feels like we're, I mean, we have like 900 things going on at once, and we're sort of intertwining everything.
It's
And I
montage
think
editing. Yeah.
right, and I do feel like thematically everything ties in beautifully. Um, but I see Matt Damon on the sand, and I just want him to be there a little more. And that's just very personal, stylistic,
Hmm.
a desire from myself. But uh, and when we talk about making it longer, that's how I would push it, where I would just like I want to look at Matt Damon sitting there, and I want to have that score be coming in, and I want to just feel emotion for him being, or like when he's on with Calypso and he's there and he doesn't know who he is or where he's going or where he's been, and I want to be there with him, and sort of share that feeling with him without it just being dialogue.
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
that's fair.
yeah. That's fair. It's also like I don't know that could ever be a reality. Like that's just
No,
like
I
what we were talking
sure.
about before with like the meshing of like Nolan with like the commercial filmmaking
No, I
aspects
know,
of it.
and
Like it's
that's
just
where
that's
I
not a real
disagree
like
with him,
movie that would
or
exist.
not have. That's
Um
where I like lose interest a little, but I understand
yeah,
why. I just that's the
sure.
feelings that I had when watching the film.
It's interesting though that you find that, like you said, that that's like a Jennifer Lame Nolan thing across movies, because I'm like I feel similarly to you, but I don't feel that way at all about Oppenheimer. Like I'm like I don't
Well,
wish
that's what
Oppenheimer
I
was any
did say. That's what I
longer.
said. Like
I wish
sort
this
of.
movie was longer, but
I
like
think Oppenheimer is just a different film. Where like I feel like the montage editing makes more sense for that film. I obviously it
yeah.
makes sense here. I just think because of what the themes are of this film, I think it makes not less sense. I just think like it's so perfect for Oppenheimer and what Oppenheimer is sort of about and doing.
Yeah.
I
Oppenheimer
find
is first and foremost a triumph in editing before it is
right
anything else to me. Yeah.
where I find the editing like less working for me here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying it was just like because when you started that, it sounded like you were saying
No,
that
no,
in
no, no.
Oppenheimer it was just as bad
I
as it
don't
is here.
think.
Which
No, 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 no. I disagree on.
yeah.
I
Okay.
just I naturally just want everything to be slower, but I think the well, like montage editing of Oppenheimer is like so perfect for that film, and I think it works here. I just wish it was a little different.
Right. Before we move into any potentially annoying trivial conversations about this movie, do you guys have specific scenes that you wanted to talk about before, like
Yeah,
you
I
know,
think
actual
the
standout
Polyphemus
scenes.
like Cyclops stuff is like quite wonderful, and it's really like kind of terrifying in a way where like no one's discussed like horror movies like that as a flow down around this like idea. Like there was like, oh, is he gonna do a vampire movie? And to me that's like the scariest moment of the film because there's there's a great line where like Matt Damon like basically compares his group to ants in the eyes of the Cyclops, and it's a but they're using the light and the shadows and the puppetry in a great sort of combination, and I think Bill Irwin it does a really good job. There, it's fun to see like we talk about it being very grounded and it is, but it is fun to see him do something like that, that's a little more, you kind of it's a sort of this unavoidable magic, and it I think that scene's really cool.
The Polyphemus scene, I really like it a lot. I think it's kind of unbelievable. This is where the 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 movie will absolutely get the most criticism, and it already has kind of started a little bit, uh,
Oh,
as an adaptation of
right.
the epic of
Yeah,
the epic um
yeah,
of the Odyssey, of the epic poem, because it's the most famous scene in the Odyssey is in the
mhm.
cave with Polyphemus, and uh, the movie kind of shows the Cyclops as being very animalistic. I would say, right? And like kind of like not necessarily as intelligent as he is in the uh
Right.
in the epic poem, to the point where it's like they cut out all of the conversations with him
Yeah.
that were in the epic. Like they don't talk to him at all. And that I think like is going to get a lot of criticism. But I think like it goes into his style, and I was watching the movie, I was like, I understand why he did it, and I'm like, I don't know if I agree with it, but as the whole, where he's trying to strike this his tone for the Odyssey, where it's not like it's Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, right?
Right,
And
right.
trying to like bend this to like his tone for his sensibilities. I think it works tremendously well, where
Mhm.
it's not a retelling of what happens in the Homer epic. It's a bending for his kind of like, because it's like you're gonna say Christopher Nolan's gonna have like a riddle like
Yeah, yeah.
joke in his I don't know. I think, but yeah, I agree. It's very scary. The hand reaches out of nowhere,
Yeah, just like it's like very like a claw machine. You're the fucking toy. You get fucking eaten.
and
Uh,
when he like calls out, it's horrifying when when they stab his eye, and like he calls out. It's terrible. And then also it even goes like when they're on the boat afterwards, and they're like, yeah, he called out to Poseidon. You know, yeah, it was Poseidon's son, and you cursed us.
yeah.
And Odysseus was like, huh? And they're like, yeah, yeah, you
Yeah.
fucked up. It's like
Yeah.
it's really good.
Yeah, I think it's really great. I think like I mentioned the Damon line about the ants thing. I find like I love there's like just little bits of where Damon gets to sort of just be Matt Damon in a way where like it's like it brings, although no one's not doing like the nobody sort of riddle or sort of he's very grounded. I find it's a little less here than maybe Oppenheimer or Tenet, but he still does his little like quips and jokes and laughs. There's still laughs in this movie, just less than maybe his other films. But I do like I find those moments to be nice, sort of fresh air moments where like these sort of there's a humanization of these sort of characters.
This is probably um the this is okay. This is probably the kind of definitive Matt Damon performance as a leading man. It's the meeting of the intelligence
Right.
that you kind of that he just like naturally has
Mhm.
from movies like Goodwill Hunting, and the
The
fuck that movie
informant.
with Jude Law or whatever,
Talented
and
Mr.
Talented Mr.
Ripley.
Ripley.
yeah, the talented Mr. Ripley. Right, it's a meaning of that kind of like this natural intelligence that like you
Mhm,
that he carries, and
mhm.
also the action star and like the strength that he has from like the Born Identity and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the funny
Right.
stuff.
And
Stuck
like,
on
yeah, no,
You.
Yeah.
yeah.
Stuck
Like
on
like
You.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Well, not that one. We don't talk about that.
But like, you know what I mean? Don't you think a little
Yeah.
bit?
I
Mhm.
I I think this is
Yeah.
yeah. I think this is probably the I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to decide. I really like him in a lot of movies, but I don't think it's crazy to say it's like his definitive performance. I'd have to take some time. I'd have to get back to you, but
Yeah, I think like
I don't necessarily disagree with that.
he does a. I think I like him most when he's very like when Odysseus is very human, when he's talking to the men and the men
Right.
don't listen to him, and he's trying to reason with them, or when he's
Yeah.
talking to Elliot Page's character and they're having that little sort of back and forth, and
Mhm.
it's just he does such a good job when the movie can get small. I think it taps into what Damon is best at, but then also when it's big, he does such a good job with the sort of
That's Jason Bourne.
right, like he turns that
Yeah.
notch up. So I agree with that sort of like he's capable of all this stuff, and I appreciate the movie when it is able to go small and sort of do those Damon things, and he can be really just Damon. But yeah, I mean he's jacked in this movie. He's really
Yeah.
he's commanding, and there's I mean when he's strapped to the boat and the sirens are singing, and he's I mean he's really giving it all
It's
there.
really
Yeah.
upsetting. Yeah.
Yeah. D-
He does a great job.
Doug, did you have a scene that you wanted to talk about as your
Well,
favorite that you wanted to
here
point out?
here's my thing about the Odyssey, right? There's like a half dozen
Right.
moment or maybe like a dozen and a half moments.
You can just list them off. You don't have to pick one.
No, 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 no. Well, there's like a dozen and a half moments where it's like, oh, this is like a perfect moment in a movie to me. And then
Yeah.
like small moments, you know what I mean? Like even just like shots that they keep coming back to, where it's like, this is so beautiful. I can't believe this
Yeah.
is, and I can't believe I'm sitting in the movie literally in disbelief at the movie that I am watching. This movie caught me so off guard. I cannot believe I'm saying this. I feel like such a loser, being like, oh guys, the new Christopher Nolan
Yeah, but
event film
like
is
it's in a
so
different way.
good.
It's kind of like
Like,
how we talk about how we've been watching Love Island. You know what I mean? It's like we watch Love Island differently than the average person watches Love Island. Like you like the Odyssey in a different way than everybody else likes the
Right,
Odyssey.
right,
You know
right.
what I
You liked
mean?
it in the cool
No, but I'm
way.
serious. It's like I mean, Owen's talking about the filmmaking, and Doug is like moved to tears. You know what I mean? Like I don't know that the average
Right, yeah,
person
that
who
didn't
is
really
like
move. I
who's
didn't
in
get
love with
moved
the
like that.
Odyssey is thinking about it
Yeah,
like
you
that. That's what I
definitely like
mean.
it
I'm like
differently than
you're
I
smarter
do.
than the average Love Island viewer, and you don't know. You know. Um.
uh, yeah, but I will say like my favorite moment. Okay, one shout out to them going to Hades. That's not like that is like that's crazy to me. I don't know who the actor is that plays the guy that is like that like talks to him
Oh,
like
like
the
who's like on the ground?
yeah, he's like on the ground.
Um.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know.
crazy though. That's a good like Dion Waiters like fucking
Heat check,
performance.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Um
I was thinking that this is just because we listen to that podcast, but when I watched the movie the first time, I was like Elliot Page is the most like Dion Waiters heat check that's like ever been in a movie before. Like, I don't, I don't know if there's ever been somebody like
yeah.
more deserving. Honestly, a couple people in this movie, but yeah,
Yeah.
No, this being Elliot Page's comeback to movie theaters since
yeah.
transitioning,
I
unbelievable. Yeah.
I'm trying to find who it is, but that's gonna be hard to find in the
Yeah,
cast.
exactly. So,
So,
but that guy, that was great. That guy sticks out to me, and I love that scene so much. Another thing I wanted to say is like the Agamemnons, oh my god,
Oh, now
fuck,
you
Agamemnon.
it's tough. It's
Agamemnon. Um, Agamemnon, really good character in the
Yeah,
epic, evil guy, like not like the guy that's
yeah,
just like fucking bloodthirsty, out for war.
yeah,
um, the but like his costuming in this is kind of like it gets to something how I read the Homeric epics, where it's like the Homeric epics are just like really like old shonen manga. basically, you know, where it's like it's
Mhm.
these big tropes. It's like these guys that are fucking out there fighting, and it's like the biggest, strongest guys, and it's like, oh, they're losing, then the god imbues them with power and they got way stronger. And it's like these like big, broad, like basically like boyish, like teenage storytelling, you know. That's kind of how I like to read a lot of the Homeric epics, specifically the Iliad, where Agamemnon is a bigger character. Um, and I'm watching this and I'm like, that's what this, because the costuming is getting to that, where it's like, who is Agamemnon? He's a scary warlord guy. And it's like, how are we gonna make him look? It's like, I don't know. Let's get to the drawing board here. It's like that's
Yeah.
unbelievable. I love that so much. And of course, aura, right? But
Yeah.
no,
Incredible aura. Yeah.
yeah. The
It's so
biggest
funny when he takes his when you see Benny
And
Safdie,
it's just him under
it's
there.
like this guy
Yeah.
lost all his aura and like look at this fucking loser.
It is funny though, like how little his face is actually in it though, because like when he takes it off, it is mostly just like
Oh, I know.
his hair and his
Well,
body.
I almost thought for a second like they were just not going to show his face because like because
Yeah,
the second you see Benny Safdie, the world shifts.
So
yeah,
I wasn't thinking they're not even hiding his face, even though they are like a
yeah.
little
You
bit,
could
right?
see it.
But like I wasn't even thinking that they were hiding his face. I was just like, oh, you don't need to see his face, because for Agamemnon, he's like so
Right.
impersonal that it's about the
Yeah,
stuff around him, you know?
Which I
right.
think is smart, but like that's like they're showing
Yeah,
him getting bathed, and you see the back of his head. It's like
right.
very like, but the
And it's
second
like
you
yeah, I don't think that they're purposefully hiding his face because he's Benny
no,
Safdie.
I
Like
know, but
it's
it's like it
I think Doug's
definitely
right that it is like you
it
know,
does change things when you
Hmm.
see his
yeah,
eyes.
it
Yeah.
does. Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, no,
Okay.
that's great. But then, the single moment of the movie is the Athena reveal,
yeah,
which I don't even, we're doing the spoilers, but it's like such a moment. It's like such
yeah.
a moment. The Athena reveal in the third act. That's but I started crying again during that. But when I was fucking sobbing, when I was unbelievably sobbing, is when Odysseus comes back home, and
Yeah.
he's like talking, and he's talking to Telemachus, Telemachus, right? And
Yeah.
Odysseus, and he's talking to the
And
fucking
he's talking about how proud he is of him.
yeah, and it's like this
Yeah.
is crazy. Yeah, like
Best part of the best part of the movie.
I'm
Best
just
part of
like,
the movie. I
and
was
I'm like,
like,
sobbing,
yeah,
like genuinely, like my teeth, my face is all like curled up like a fucking
yeah.
cauliflower, and I'm like just sobbing, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah,
Um,
every time I've watched the movie from that scene onward, I cry the entire movie. And then when you
yeah,
rewatch it, you kind of cry leading up to that part, knowing that it's gonna happen.
it's unbelievable. And
Yeah,
then again when Odysseus is talking to Penelope, right, and it's this
yeah,
reveal, and like my face like welts up, and I'm like crying again, like a fucking like I'm a cauliflower that just got washed. I'm like, what is
yeah.
going on right now?
What is your deal with this
This is
cauliflower?
unreal. Well, it's like something wrinkly, like
Okay,
but
sure.
they like I'm like, oh my god, like this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like I've never been moved
Yeah,
more in a movie theater at all. This is
yeah,
unbelievable. I cannot believe this is happening right now. This
yeah,
is like Christopher Nolan, such an unromantic filmmaker, is like truly making some of the most romantic, to me
yeah,
at least, that I can
yeah.
remember in recent memory, some of the most romantic filmmaking in recent memory. And it's like I'm, not like I don't know, because he wrote the movie. Like,
That's also the scene that's also the scene to me, not to go back to this conversation, but when you were talking about Tom Holland, that's the scene to me where I'm like, I'm happy that it's Tom Holland, because in that scene, I think he's actually like great.
I
Like
think he's really good in the
I
movie. Yeah,
think his reaction to what Matt Damon is saying is like perfect. Personally,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's great everywhere else in the movie, but for that scene alone, I think it's good that Tom Holland was in the movie. Is what I would say about his performance. And that is also like, yeah, I think if I was going to say my favorite scenes, it would be like the Cersei thing, of course. If I'm just talking about like exciting stuff, then like the John Bernthal telling of Troy, like what from inside the horse, I really like. And then really just like the last hour when I was crying the whole time, like all the scenes that make me cry
no, I
are
was
the
crying
ones.
so
Yeah,
like actually I
yeah,
genuinely, like, sometimes we talk about crying in movie, and I was sobbing during Disclosure Day as well. But like,
Yeah.
and this, like, I was like sobbing, like, do I need to leave the theater? Like, trying not to make like be too loud. Like, I was like,
Did you have like a sweater on, like something to wipe your tears with? Did you have like napkins or something, or you were
no,
just
bro.
like free balling your
I was
tears, like
just
they were just all
freeballing it,
over the
and then
place?
my face was like dry and like sticky. Yeah, after, you know
Oh
what I mean?
man.
Like, yeah, it was.
Sometimes, because sometimes the thing is like I would never think to do this for the Odyssey, but there's been times in the past where I go into a movie like knowing it's so sad, where I'll grab like a stack of like napkins from from the counter before I go in the movie, so that I know I'm gonna cry a lot. But I would not have thought to do that during the Odyssey, and I cried. I've cried all three times, but to varying degrees. It's a little bit easier to handle on the third watch. I'll say,
Yeah,
um,
and
but
obviously it's
maybe
like,
not for you.
it's like the characters and the writing and everything, but a big part of it too is like, it is the image making, and that's where
Yeah.
I think that's where me and Owen, I think, differ so much about this. Is like, so much of the image making is incredible, and I'm like, bro, they're on a boat, they're on a fucking boat.
Yeah.
You know
Yes.
what I mean? They're on a boat,
Yes.
off the
All
coast
I
of
think all
Greece.
of my favorite
Like,
images are on the boat, to be
you know what I'm
fair.
saying? Like, that's crazy.
Um,
They're on a castle talking to each other, and like there's the ocean behind them. And, you know, it's like,
yeah.
I don't know what else do you
Sure.
want. You know, what do you mean, sure, bro? It's like,
I, I
This is what
think
I but you know what I mean? Like
yes.
when I made the jab before about the Devil Wears Prada 2, I'm like, this is where it feels to me like I don't as much as we podcast, like I don't know that I'll ever understand you guys. You know what I mean?
I
Because like Owen will have this
I
reaction to what Doug is saying, and
no, but like
that's confusing to
it is
me. And it's also
beautiful.
honestly so confusing to me that Doug loves this movie as much as he does. Like I would have never predicted.
It's
I really was
beautiful.
expecting to go
The
into the podcast
locations are very
with you hating
beautiful.
it.
The locations are very beautiful, but I'm not. I was rarely moved by the sort of the what was in the frame in terms of like the directed, like
bro
the
sees the most perfect sunset that's ever been captured on film, and is like, ah, whatever, man. That's like,
it's
what's.
that's a good shot. That's a good shot, but like it's a lot of like point the camera at the guy talking.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, here's
No,
the thing
which
about
is
that, right?
fine, which is fine. I just I'm putting I'm like
Yeah, but
I
point the
gave it
camera at the guy
four
talking. Who's
stars, and I'm
talking?
like
It's like Robert Pattinson. You know what I mean? Like, what? Like,
right, but it's
yeah.
like I don't know. It's just not very. I don't find it very like interesting. Uh, it's very like
I
the guy
my thing
is
is like
in the frame and he's
I would accept that more if you made sense when you talked about the things that were interesting.
what do you mean?
I no, I don't want to just keep going back to this movie, but I'm like I still it just doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
The No, the
like
Devil Wears
how is it
Prada
that
is like, it is very crazy how high
that's
you
what I'm
are in that
saying. It's like
movie.
how is it that this is not interesting but that movie is
I like both of the
visually?
movies for different reasons.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how like you could look at the frame in the Devil Wears Prada 2 and be like, that's interesting, but this one isn't. Because there's people, because it's like people's faces talking. That's also what the Devil Wears Prada 2 is.
Yeah, but I honestly I will say this. I will say this. Okay, you want me to say this? I think there is more interesting framing in the Devil Wears Prada 2 than there is in the Odyssey.
Like
Fine.
I just can't get
I,
like I can't like give a stamp of approval to that on the podcast. Like I don't know that we could make that public.
I think it's
You know
true.
what I mean? Like
I
that's
was
a little bit
when
crazy.
watching the Devil Wears Prada 2, I was more wowed and interested by the compositions than in this Point Ben picture.
Bro, slow, like,
And this is what I mean, where I'm like, I don't think I'll ever understand you because I just like that sounds crazy to me.
the White Lotus is gonna blow fucking Owen's brain wide open. The White Lotus is gonna, he's
Bro,
gonna be like, the
season 4 is
possibilities of
gonna be
cinema is
crazy.
unbelievable. Bro, he's gonna watch Slow Horses and be like, wait, what have I been doing with my whole life?
Slow horses.
He's like,
I heard that show's really good, actually.
Oh
but
my
you know what I'm
god.
saying? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I
No,
just don't I'm
I
not
do know what you're
like
saying. That's what I mean. It's like, and I'm not
compositionally,
like trying
I'm
to be
just
an
like
asshole about it. I just that's all I'm saying is like I think I don't know that I think I'm probably somewhere in between you guys, but I definitely just like lean in Doug's direction where I'm like, this is just a movie that looks good. Not all the time, but like,
yeah, I
but
mean
this is
it's
just
like
mostly a
I
movie
think
that looks really
it
good.
and it largely benefits off of the set design and location, and like I'm not saying it looks
Sure. Yeah, I don't
bad.
think he's like
It's
the
the sum
greatest
of
image
all of its
maker in the
parts. No,
world.
but that's the thing. My thing is like it's not even about like it's like formally looking. My phone is writing down everything I'm saying. Hold on. It's not even about that. It's formally or like not formally. The shots, the specific like the compositions
Yes.
of like how things are framed and what the focus is
Mhm.
and how it's lit, right? Like that, it's not even about that specifically. It's about the culmination of everything. Sometimes that is within the frame at a certain moment is imbued with so much fucking magic and romance and energy. Where I'm like, this is stunning to me. It's not. It's you know what I mean. It's like culmination of everything that where it's like I'm getting
Sure.
like hit in the
Yeah.
chest. It does not. It's not as formally interesting as a
As the Lord Frontier.
Mizoguchi film or a John Ford film. You know what I'm
No, of
saying?
course not.
Like it's like right, but but you know what a Mizoguchi film and a John Ford film doesn't have? It doesn't have um these. I'm so and you know I'm serious because because I think this movie is like as good as like I watched the story of the last chrysanthemum
Yeah, yeah.
chrysanthemum uh which is like one of the greatest fucking movies I've ever seen, right? Uh, and I think that this movie is like as good as that to me because you're on the boat in Greece and you have the sunset and you have the editing cutting between all of these images and you have these like these incredible actors giving these incredible earnest line readings about how like people aren't good anymore and we have to be better people and it's cutting and like and I love you so much and it's cutting between like the sunset and the ocean and the water and you know what I'm saying. Does this make sense, right? Like
It
Yes.
does to me at least.
I understand what you mean. I agree on some level. Like the movie worked largely because of the sum of its parts. But when I watch the movie again, and or even when I watch it, I just feel like there's a disconnect from me in the film of what I'm interested in, and it's a long movie. It's a lot of movie, and I don't find myself on a shot by shot basis enjoying what I'm looking at. But I think it ultimately it works emotionally to an extent. I just think I would be more emotionally invested if I was sort of ever taken aback by what I was looking at.
I see. That's okay. This that
But
makes sense.
Yeah,
it's
it's
But
just
I
just
like
will
like
say we're
it is
different though, because I was
right,
taken aback frequently by
right,
what I
and
was
I
seeing.
understand that. I am trying to sort of
Yeah, yeah. No, I understand.
relay the sort of response I had to the. I think I was moved more by the performances and the script than I was by what I was looking at.
Right.
sure. I don't think that's crazy. I might even agree with that. But it's just that the way you know what I mean though? It's like the way you phrase things and word things and like the language you use
Yeah.
makes what you're saying sound so terrible. But the way that you just said it right. No, I'm serious. But like the way that you just said it right there
Yeah.
completely makes sense to me. Like I actually agree with that because I do think that the performances and the
Mhm.
script and the ideas
Yeah.
probably amount to more than the images alone in this movie. I would agree with that.
Right.
But everything you said before,
Okay.
like we still got some work to do before we see eye to eye on. But okay, my trivial questions that I had written down were for starters, and I think we know the answer for Doug, but for starters, where does this fall in Nolan's filmography for you guys? I think for all of us, I think we're all in agreement at least that his most recent work is our favorite.
I think
I
it's
think
Um
his three most recent
his three
films are
most
his
recent
best
films.
three films,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
yeah. I think that's where I'm at, but it's hard for me to really make any definitive statement on movies that I haven't seen
In a
in
long time. Yeah,
years or
sure.
ever. But I also look at the filmography and I'm just like, you would have to pay me to go watch some of this
Some of those
bullshit.
again. Yeah. I
Which
think for me, a lot of them, it's just like sentimental. Like all the old stuff, I'm like, I think I'm hanging on to like movies that shaped
right.
my my
But I
early
don't know.
life.
What if I watched Following and was like, you know what?
Yeah, maybe. I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
that's gonna happen, but maybe.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch
I
that
mean,
movie
you
for like
might because
2 years.
it's like a
I
$10,000
like
movie.
I
You
well,
might
that's
there's
why
like
I am
yeah.
attracted to the idea of it, but, like, I feel like no one really rides for it, so I'm like, maybe it's
It
just
does
like
not. Nobody rides for it. Yeah.
Okay,
which is like
so answer this question then, for both of you. Rank Oppenheimer, Tenet, The Odyssey, and then tell me which one of the not those three movies is your favorite from the remaining?
This is crazy. This is easy for me. I can just say the Odyssey, then Tenet, then Oppenheimer, and then Insomnia.
Okay,
Yeah,
real.
which
Shout
is
out Alaska.
no, truly. That's where I'm like they shot
Yeah,
the shit in Canada, but it takes place in Alaska.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Um. So, well, I know my order of the three. I have literally no idea what the fourth movie would be. To me, it's Tenet, Oppenheimer, and the Odyssey. With I feel like Tenet and Oppenheimer being closer to each other, like that could be a 1A 1B thing, and then but I think to me not Oppenheimer, the Odyssey, as of now, is that clear three.
Yeah.
Where the fourth one, I honestly
If you just had a guess, if you just
I
had,
so I
if
haven't
you just
seen I haven't seen Memento, Dunkirk, Inception. Not Inception. I haven't seen Memento, Dunkirk, Insomnia, Following, and The
okay,
Prestige. I haven't seen any of
okay.
those movies.
Memento's good.
Gun to your head, either rewatching one of the ones you've seen
Gun to my
or
head,
watching one for
The
the first
Dark Knight.
time. Which, like, if you had to put one on right now, which
The
one are you
Dark
putting
Knight.
on? Okay,
Purely
interesting.
just because of Heath Ledger, I think. Like,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
just
Well,
think,
that's
like,
actually
I just think
my answer for.
I think
You
that
would probably like The
yeah.
Dark Knight Rises more, to be honest.
really.
Yeah, because you would like Bane probably.
Yeah, there's Bane and Anne
Well,
Hathaway is
Bane's
Catwoman.
good. Yeah, and Anne Hathaway. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mm.
Owen would have some crazy opinions about Anne Hathaway in The Dark Knight Rises. Actually, you would that movie that would change your life. I think. It's funny we all have different orders, which I guess isn't that funny and maybe
It's
expected. But
hilarious.
I'd probably go Oppenheimer number one, and then Tenet, and then the Odyssey. But maybe the other way around. I'd have to think about it. It's like
Tenet
they're
is an
neck and
unbelievable
neck.
movie.
They're neck and neck, but
Tenet is
Oppenheimer
so
to me is like
crazy.
very clearly my
Tenet is
favorite.
so crazy. John David
and then,
Washington,
yeah.
like I feel like underrated at this point, and like I kind of miss him.
I ordered my hot sauce an hour ago.
Kind of like there hasn't been.
I miss him. I miss him too, dude. I miss
Like,
bring
he
back
kinda
Ballers
rocked,
on
bro.
HBO. I like him. He should be in stuff.
He's cool.
Yeah, my fourth would probably be The Dark Knight because Heath Ledger is like my favorite person who ever lived. Otherwise, I might pick like Inception. But anyway, all right. My other trivial question was Oscar foresight and predictions. Do we think that it's possible for Nolan to have back-to-back movies win Best Picture? Slash, how many
It better
awards
not be Digger.
Yeah, well, I was gonna read to you what the current Best Picture
Oh yeah, please do.
top 10 is for reference.
Yeah.
Do you want the expert odds or the combined odds with users?
I
Expert
don't know.
odds.
Expert odds, I
Okay,
guess.
I'll do the expert. I'll do the expert
Look
odds
the
'cause
randos.
I don't want
They're
user
gonna
input.
say Project Hail Mary.
Yeah. Well, expert odds. Number 1, Digger. Number 2, The Odyssey. Number 3, Project Hail Mary. Number 4, Dune Part 3. Number 5, The Debut, the Jesse Eisenberg movie. Number 6, Wild Horse 9. Number 7, Fjord. Number 8, La Bola Negra. Number 9, The Invite. And number 10, Behemoth.
I think it's going to be some bullshit. I think it's gonna be Wild Horse 9 or something. Like
I don't think Wild Horse 9 is winning Best Picture. My prediction about Wild Horse 9 would be that
It's like
is
it's
going to
not gonna be
completely
nominated?
fall out of the Oscar race. Yeah.
Good.
And that's not even. I'm excited for that movie because I like
Right.
Martin McDonagh, but like I truly watching that trailer, I'm like, is this really that much different than In Bruges? Like I don't know that that's like a movie that's winning Best Picture.
Is there
Yeah.
a chance? Is there any chance that the Odyssey could win the Big Five?
Sure.
Yeah, but no, I don't think. But maybe. I don't know.
In terms
I
of
think
actress,
screenplay is tricky to judge.
Yeah,
I don't know if the screenplay is going to be like rewarded or if they're not going to be like
it's going to be up against The Invite and Adapted.
Well,
Oh,
and
true,
Project Hail
yeah.
Mary.
Oh yeah, and Project Hail Mary. Yeah,
Dude,
Yeah.
fuck
Good,
off.
whatever.
I haven't seen that.
Which like I could see Project Hail Mary falling out of the Oscar race a little bit too,
It
but I
should.
feel like at this point I feel like at this point it's probably at least going to get
I
nominated.
can't
for, like,
imagine. I
best
can't imagine
stuff.
awarding that movie when Dune 3 and the Odyssey, as in terms of blockbusters, exist. It just feels
Yeah.
like the odd man out in
Yeah,
terms of
it's
like a
weird for that movie to
blockbuster.
like win. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
agree.
I haven't
I think
seen
it will
Dune
be.
3 or that movie, but like it just in terms of like we have three big blockbusters in the Oscar race.
I promise you, Dune 3 will be better than Project Hail Mary, no matter what.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
just can't
No,
imagine.
I agree. And I actually think, to your point, when people do that thing where it's like, okay, X amount of like blockbusters are going to be the ones that get attention at the Oscars.
Right.
Like, I do
And isn't
think
Digger
that
kind of
the
like
existence.
blockbuster E?
Well, I have a question about
Yeah,
Digger. I have a question about
maybe.
Digger. Is Digger a musical?
That's what they said, I think, at some
Dude,
point.
Did
I
they
don't know
say
if it
that?
is
It's
Because
maybe the
like
worst movie of
no,
all
because
time.
they were playing because there was a theory before the trailer came out where they were like, wait, maybe Digger is like Tom Cruise musical actually, but then I feel like people kind of stopped saying that, but I'm not like super top in. Then we saw the trailer before the movie, and I was like, I leaned over to Clara and I was like, it seems like they're hiding
Yeah.
musical numbers in the trailer. It seems like they're hiding musical numbers, like
Oh,
trying
that's
to
such a, you're so funny.
right.
I mean, no, if it is,
No,
then
I'm imagining Doug doing that. I think I do agree though, like the sort of the even the way that Tom Cruise moves throughout the frame, there's a very sort of
There's
skip
this
to his
one
step
shot
sort of
there's this one shot of him and Sandra Holler like dancing together, right? And
yeah.
I'm like, oh
well,
wait,
some of the stuff in the trailer where it's like, it does seem like he just got done
But
with
like
a musical number, but they're not
how
like,
long are we
but that
going
part
to
isn't in it. Yeah,
how long did
or
they
it
like
seems
hide that?
I don't know, but
like the thing that he does with like the shovel, you know what I
Right,
mean? Where it's
right,
like, it
right.
seems
No.
like that's the start of like a musical number, almost certainly.
it really
Yeah.
seems. Here's the thing: if it's a musical, it's gonna win me back a little bit because I'm like, wait, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
But also, it's like, is it gonna win you back in the way that you're just like charmed by Tom Cruise, or you're actually gonna like the movie? You think?
I have no
Dude,
idea.
shit looks like Don't Look Up.
It looks like, but
That's
here's
what
the
I
thing:
yeah.
Don't
Watching the
Look Up's
trailer,
not
I
a
was just like,
Yorgo's filter on Don't Look Up.
But also,
Yeah.
I will say though, in I don't know in the Dolby theater at least the Digger trailer, the color grading looks so much better in like the HDR that they have
Yeah.
on the in the trailer package than it does on like my phone. It
Right,
looks worse. It does not look very gray in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That,
Anyway,
I mean, listen, we're fucking inches here. Like,
right,
the movie looks bad.
Right.
Okay, so then generally
What was the
speaking,
question?
prediction. Yeah, yes, no. The Odyssey gets Christopher Nolan back-to-back Best Picture wins.
Gun to my head right now, I'm saying the Odyssey wins, and I'm terrible at predicting shit like this. But
Yeah.
gun to my head right now, I'm saying the Odyssey wins Best Picture and Best Director, and Best Score and
interesting.
Best Editing. Gun to my head, I'm saying it right now. It wins those
Okay.
4 awards.
Do you think then, what would you say that there's a better chance that Anne Hathaway wins Best Supporting Actress, or that Matt Damon wins Best Actor?
Here's the thing, I feel like they both,
Because the Best Actor race right now would be Matt Damon versus Tom Cruise, until like somebody else gets into the mix. Of
well,
course,
Timothy
but, like,
Chalamet is probably going to work his way into the mix,
sure.
right? It's the last Dune movie.
There's no-
It's the last Dune movie.
I don't know if that's
Fuck
maybe
that
though. I don't know. I guess
I
if,
think
like,
I
yeah,
think
if
I
Matt
think
Damon
it's Matt
couldn't do it for
Damon's.
the Odyssey,
It's
then
his award to lose.
Here's the thing. I think Tom
really over like the Cruise Legacy Award.
Yeah, my thing is like it's Tom
Yeah.
Cruise wants it. Tom Cruise is going to be at the FIFA World Cup finale promoting Digger. Right?
That's true. He
You know
is
what I
gonna
mean?
be there
Like
today,
he
but
wants
yeah,
it
that's
like
true.
genuinely like
Right.
he wants it so bad. And
But
my thing is like
I think
can
we have
Matt
to.
Damon out campaign Tom Cruise is the question.
I think it's just hard to say right now, just because like we don't know the reception of that film.
Yeah. Also, Matt Damon isn't not campaigning. Like,
No,
he's
he is
going
campaigning.
to-
He is
yeah.
campaigning.
He
But
is
my thing is like,
campaigning.
can he out? Because you know, it's like in the GQ article, he was talking about how like it's the hardest movie I ever made, you know, and shit like
Yeah.
that. Where it's like, but
Yeah,
like, can Matt Damon out campaign the Tom Cruise movie, who seems like the whole existence is like win Tom Cruise an Oscar? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like
It's also
I
like it's
think,
also
yeah.
a lot of good like Tom Cruise is in people's good graces, I think, by going to watch the Odyssey and being like, this rocks. Like,
Yeah.
I
Right.
think that's good for Tom
Yeah,
Cruise.
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I mean, we'll have a third guy.
Yeah,
coming in
Pedro
soon.
Pascal and Behemoth.
Yeah.
Which he's not gonna win,
I'm
but
not kidding.
I would be happy for that.
Yeah,
I mean,
because right now the third place in the odds is Ryan Gosling in Project Hail Mary, and that's not what the
no,
race is
no,
going to
no.
be.
So that's what
So,
I mean. Someone will come.
Sebastian Stan and Fjord, I guess, would
Yeah,
be a contender. But I would
Sebastian.
I feel like, or Robert Pattinson in prime time as a long shot.
That movie's gonna be
That's
so good.
the
When does
dark
it come
horse.
out? Like October?
September, I think, like the first week of September. I was thinking it might be a festival movie, but then I realized it comes out in September. So
Right.
but yeah, yeah. My sneaky prediction is that Pedro Pascal in Behemoth gets into
That'd be
that
great.
race.
I am so excited
But
for Behemoth. Like so excited for Behemoth.
that's just me guessing based on like what we know about the movie so far. I'm like, it does sound like it would be a very like lead performance movie. I don't know, but we'll see. Okay, well then, how many? If you're throwing a number on it, how many Oscar nominations for the Odyssey?
Like
Nominations?
12.
Yeah.
Like 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be like it's gonna break the record again.
Right. So do you think no like like voter fatigue as far as Oppenheimer goes?
No,
Like the Odyssey is
no,
just
no,
like
No.
I don't think.
dominant again.
Yeah,
I think it's hard to have voter fatigue when it's Christopher Nolan. I would
I
like
was.
if it was still like the
Yeah.
next like I don't know who film, but like I feel like a lot of other filmmakers could sort of you sort of get that with. I think Nolan is on like another level where it's like we're playing with different rules here.
Sure. Yeah. That's fair. That's good logic. Okay. That's all I have as far as Odyssey stuff. Is there anything you guys want to say about the Odyssey before we wrap this conversation up?
Like when Samantha Morton is like she's like on the pigs, she's like take off their disguises or like something's like
Yeah.
something she's like breaks them like it's yeah, I mean it's horrifying.
Yeah.
I
No,
like.
I was uncomfortable.
There's the scene where when Odysseus comes back, but he's like still disguised as a beggar, and the Robert Pattinson character throws the stool at him after he rage baits him, and then the other guy is just like, "Yo, bro, you can't do that. Zeus's law." He's like, "Zeus's law, bro. What are you doing?" Like I thought that was really good.
I like when Tom Holland he looks at everyone and he says you have Athena's eyes and he's like sort of like he's like
Kevin,
you
you're
have
muted, brother.
wise eyes. It's so it's a good bit. I think it's a good bit.
Kevin, you're
it-
muted.
I just realized I was muted. You're right.
What
I was
it, Kevin?
saying I everybody's kind of talked about it now, but I really like when Robert Pattinson is just like yelling the things that are falling from the ceiling. Like when he's just
Yeah.
like spears.
Shields,
Yeah.
get the shields.
He's awesome, dude. He's so fucking
Oh, it's really
amazing.
good. It's really good.
I can't wait for. I mean, dude, I need to watch the drama. I need to do
Yeah.
that like next
You
week or
should
something.
watch it. Yeah.
Same,
Oh,
yeah.
you know what? What are what's your own personal Odyssey? What if you guys had your own Odyssey? What would it be?
What does that
Like in
mean?
real life?
Yeah, like what's like a thing that's happened to you that's felt like a 20-year journey home to your wife,
Um,
or have you not been on a have you never felt like that before?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think like I'm really drawn to these sort of like physical journeys. And I think that's why like I like really did like want more physicality of like that part of the film because I do think the film is very physical, but I wish it was pushed more. But
Right.
I definitely like when like I went cross country and like I would do a lot of like hiking like mountains and stuff or just like the tallest peak in Death Valley, all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like I think a lot about like sort of I forget who I was talking to this about. I was talking this about very recently, but there's a sort of like physical uh part of even filmmaking. I felt this way when we were making the film, Kevin. It's like
right. I was gonna say that your Odyssey is walking from the bottom to the top of Prospect Park.
right.
With two bags.
But
Yeah.
it is like there's this thing where you're climbing a mountain or like walking up a mountain or whatever, and you have this, or you're in the middle of the film or whatever, and there's this sort of this understanding in your body that it is like you're halfway here, and there's you can only go one way back, and you have to sort of mentally be able to push yourself back, because it's either you just like you're out here and you die out here in the middle of nowhere, or you physically um it's very like Jerry core, but it's like we're out here in the middle of nowhere, and it's like no one's coming to get us. We either die here, or we mentally sort of push through and we cross
Yeah.
the finish line. And so that I very much related to a lot of the sort of the ideas on that level of the Odyssey, of just like the mental, to will yourself mentally to push your body to get home in like a thematic sense, but
Right.
like just like get to safety, get to a
Yeah.
place where you can sort of survive, because there are times where you are like in a place where it's like you can't just stop here. It's no good
Yeah.
to stop here. You have to you keep moving. But yeah, it was quite interesting. I mean, I definitely did, when watching the movie, sort of reflect on sort of what we've been doing, Kevin, in terms of like the physical beast that it is to make a movie,
Yeah.
especially the kind of movie we were making, where we were in 90, heat wave weather, and we did a lot
Yeah.
of. It was a very
Walking.
physical film that we did, where it was like a lot of carrying stuff, walking, putting things down, shooting a shot, carrying stuff, walking, stop, shoot a shot, and everyone after every day was exhausted,
Yeah.
beat.
It's the most tired I've been in a while. I mean, every time we shot something, it was like I played 5 hours worth of basketball. Like it was
It was,
I'm serious. Like
actor.
it
Yeah,
truly
no, oh yeah.
the one day I thought I was gonna die. That was the
um,
worst day because that was when it was like 102 degrees or whatever.
on the fourth or the fifth,
But on the I guess it was the fifth, maybe.
because I think
Was it or was it the fourth?
to me the fifth was the hardest day, and it was not technically the hottest day, but it was like the muggiest day, and it was we did
Yeah.
a lot of
Okay,
movement
no,
that
then
day.
for me it was the fourth. It was the
Right.
hot
Okay.
day
Well,
because
yeah.
I got back to Emma's apartment and I laid down on the floor for 2 hours and I started hallucinating. So, so for me that was
Okay. Yeah.
I literally Doug, I told them about this. I had like an out of body experience where I thought that I was dead and like watching myself as like a ghost. Like I didn't know if I was alive or not.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
No, but I think like it's very interesting, because I was thinking about this a lot when watching the film or thinking about the film afterwards, and obviously so different in terms of productions and all these things, but I that's why I sort of related to these sort of uh pushing yourself and the imperfections that come with that, but also the physical pushing yourself that ends up on the screen, and sort of uh again, it's wild to think about a 200 something million-dollar movie that has the sort of
Physical
imperfections,
demands.
right? The physical
Yeah.
demands, but also like the grit and grind of sort of an independent. We
Yeah.
got to carry this up this hill. We got to walk up this thing.
Right.
We got to walk this way to shoot this thing, and so I think it's quite beautiful. But yeah, like I mean, I think in many ways, like filmmaking is such an endurance like sport in a way of that, and I think it's an interesting like sort of to me, I think a lot about like I think about this in when we are writing, but also I think it's much more obvious when we're shooting. But like the work, even though it's like it is technically recorded on a camera or filmed on a camera, it's so much coming from the human bodies that make it, and sort of the I mean it all the choice, like it's so mental, but the mental is so dictated by the physical, because it's like, okay, we walk
Right.
this way, we're all exhausted, and my brain is working in a certain register because I'm exhausted, and everyone's exhausted, and we got to sort of band together to sort of do everything, but all of the decisions are being sort of dictated by how the body is currently sort of feeling, or what am I thinking about here, what am I trying to achieve. um but I think, like I said earlier, like trying to push it more in that physical cinema of the body, literally cinema coming from the body, rather than cinema coming from a prompt or like just like a computer or like a computer a guy even like but like I don't know I think and that's a lot to do with like I don't agree with him a lot of things but Tarantino has some saying about like filming it on the day getting it on the day and I think there's something beautiful about the making a decision on the day in the
Right.
physical condition you are in through the physical conditions that you're sort of doing and that being what ends up being the movie is sort of a result of your current physical condition and fighting through whatever sort of is happening because there's a lot of I'm sure there was some sort of not nice weather days on the Odyssey. I'm sure
Yeah.
there was some difficulties that they didn't expect. And I mean, yeah, I mean, every actor was like, it was the hardest. Every day was the hardest day of any,
Yeah.
and all they talk about is that is, and I think it's, I think it's really, again, I think we talked about it a lot this episode, but like, I do think, uh, that is as much as it becomes, it can sort of feel like as a way of selling the movie. I do think like it is really good that these big movies still feel difficult. I think
Yeah.
making a movie should be difficult. It should be. I mean, I Tyler Whitmore, who helped produce this film, I was talking to him a little bit after. I was like, that was the hardest thing I've
You helped
ever
produce the
done.
Odyssey?
No, no, our film. And I talked to him after, and I was like, "It was the hardest thing I've ever done." And he was like, and he said something that of course, I agree with, but it's hard to think about it in the moment. And I was like, it's like every film should be the hardest film you ever done, right? And I think
Yeah.
it's great to see that even at Nolan's sort of where he's at on top of the world, literally in terms of the film world, he's still sort of with that mindset of every film should be the hardest film I've ever done.
Yeah.
And I think yeah, I don't know. I think it's just an interesting thing to be because I don't think it's like, do you think J.J. Abrams, not to shit on J.J. Abrams, but like, do you think J.J. Abrams, the new film, he's like, that was the hardest fucking thing I've ever done? Probably, I don't know, maybe.
Probably
But I
not.
feel
Maybe.
like, but
We're gonna talk about
but
him
I don't,
like 5 minutes. So.
I would assume that most filmmakers that most not great maybe filmmakers uh might be doing things that are not the hard like there's it's tough.
Yeah.
No one it's hard to be like, oh, I'm making all this money, this is this big thing, let me push myself to the absolute limits when no one is
Yeah.
asking me to do so.
Right.
I
Right.
think that this is the best podcast about movies in the whole world.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's a very long-winded answer to my question.
No,
That
I
went
think
to a
that
lot
was
of
that was incredible.
places.
No, what are you talking about? That was
Um,
incredible.
yeah, no, I didn't say not a negative. I didn't think I thought it was gonna be like a real like throwaway question for you guys. I thought you were just gonna like say like the
Yeah, when I
drive
was
to
in high
McDonald's or
school, my
something.
Odyssey to the cafeteria.
Right. Yeah. I mean that's like what my answer would be. Not literally, but like mine would be something stupid like that. I didn't prepare an answer when I asked you guys that question, but it would probably be just like driving in New Jersey or something. Just like anytime I'm in the car. I don't know. Anyway, let's wrap up the Odyssey conversation there. Talk about some news before we wrap up. Reminding everybody to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. You can rate the episode on Spotify and Apple Podcast if you're listening there. Follow us on Twitter and at all of the other links in the episode description. News wise, we've got just a couple things. We'll start with some delays to big movies. Both the Batman Part 2 has been delayed to February of 2028, and the director who you just mentioned, J.J. Abrams' The Great Beyond, starring Glenn Powell, Jenna Ortega, Emma Mackey, and Samuel L. Jackson, has been delayed to October of 2027. That one I don't know that you guys
You can keep
give a
it.
shit about, but uh, but the Batman has been delayed by another 2 years or
That's
a little
crazy,
bit less than
bro.
that.
Rob Pattinson's
Uh,
gonna be so fucking old when that shit comes out. That's crazy. He's gonna be
yeah,
like
but like
as no, he's gonna be like as old as Ben Affleck was almost when he was Batman.
Yep.
yeah, but like
And Ben
You
Affleck
said,
was like old man Batman, and Robert Pattinson's supposed to be like first year being Batman.
well, not anymore. He's
Not well,
second.
exactly. Not, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Rob is what he says. He's Gen Z. He's pretty young. He is boyish
Yeah,
at
he
heart.
feels he's young at heart. Yeah.
He's skinny.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It depends how they want to play it. I think
Yeah. No, they are giving it the Euphoria treatment.
No, it's
yeah,
It
crazy.
is.
uh
Yeah.
yeah. In 10 years,
I
we'll
think I'll
sort of
like the movie. I don't care.
it'll be
Yeah.
a tell all. I don't know. I
Sure to be pretty good, but this is crazy that it's taken so long. Like,
Yeah.
oh, definitely. I yeah. It's not ideal.
Yeah, agreed. Jenna Ortega and Rose Byrne are set to star in Mary Bronstein's Nasty. It centers on a prodigious athlete who is battling for a spot on the Olympics gymnastics team. However, she must overcome her biggest opponent, her coach.
You know, this is Clockwork.
Uh is it Clockwork?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
it is. That's right. It's their second movie after the
Warner
Sean
Bros.
Baker
Yeah, which
movie, right? Yeah.
is cool. I mean, this is like a really.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a get like in terms of like Sean Baker
The
is like
Clockwork, yeah.
yeah, but I mean Sean Baker is like when you talk like independent film Sean Baker is like that's like the biggest fucking guy's name.
yes,
But for them
yes,
to pick something like this is really lovely to see and hopefully is good sort of as a good omen for the future. And I'm
Yeah.
super excited that it seems like I don't know what the movement was or who made sort of a change here or if this is just blind luck, but it does seem like we're entering a new era for Jen Ortega in terms of the
Yeah.
quality of people she's working with and the quality of projects she's picking. I mean,
Yeah.
she still is like she's got her Taika Waititi and her J.J. Abrams movies coming out, but it does seem
Yeah.
like this next wave, at least with this movie and the other the Leo Scarix movie.
Yeah.
These seem very exciting. It does seem like
What if Tom Holland inspired every other young actor? He did the Odyssey and then he talked about how he was finally on like a real movie and now
yeah. He inspired young actors to want to work with
every other
Christopher
young actor
Nolan.
is like I
Yeah,
gotta yeah.
I think every young actor purely wants to work with Christopher Nolan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone, I think everyone under 30 wants to be the Dark Knight.
What we really want them to do though is to work with. We want to get them to work with Ryosuke Sakamoto or Rahamaguchi.
They really need to tap into the Sebastian Stan playbook right now.
Yeah. That's a
Uh,
different
I
age
know.
group though than Jenna Ortega.
Sure, but I think like
But the model
I don't
is
have
there.
I don't think it's an age thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, Rob, you can
Um
look at Rob. I saw some dumb tweet that really pissed me off. Where like people, so there's like these like really because Rob, the Odyssey's huge right now. Rob Pattinson, all the things that we talk about are super on the spotlight. Where people are like, they're like, why the heck do you like why do film Twitter? Why does film Twitter talk about Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson in such different ways? And they're talking about like Rob Pattinson does big movies, and he just does like he doesn't do like small indie movies. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I'm like
yeah.
it's so like this you guys there's like so like off base for anything, and like the fact that you can't like sort of understand the difference because I think too it gets like super like he's Batman and he's Spider-Man like they're the same thing, and it's like I'm like tearing my hair out because I'm like I literally tweeted something. I'm like he's literally playing Chris Hansen in a Lance Oppenheim movie later this year. Like
Yeah.
this is not the same thing. Like that's like for him to do that. I think he's very good as well at almost. Robert Pattinson has almost a crystal ball because like I think like they don't give him credit when it's like oh he's worked with the Safdies and he worked with Robert Eggers. It's like bro he made the Safdies and Robert Eggers in a way. Like you could literally
Yeah, no, that's
like
true. Yeah.
the popular they were not who they were when Rob Pattinson decided to work with those guys.
Yeah.
It's like I
Yeah.
think like there's a little bit of like I don't know what the fucking phrase is, but like the current we're looking at it at the current in the current lens, where it's like when he signed on to do Good Time, like the reason Marty Supreme exists in the way that is such a big deal is because of something like Good Time, and the
Yeah.
Robert Eggers doing Nosferatu, like that exists because he did The Lighthouse.
Yeah,
And
if Robert Pattinson didn't do Good Time, bro, who knows? They could have maybe never made a big movie.
Benny Safdie would not be in the Odyssey.
Yeah.
I
No,
think you
literally,
really,
truly,
I
literally,
feel like
genuinely.
so
Like
it's
Adam
like
Sandler probably would have never done Uncut Gems. Like, or it
yeah,
would have taken them longer, you
right,
know.
right, right. So I don't know. I think like we're sort of disregarding. It's very. I think there's some misconceptions about Mr. Rob and sort of the choices he's made because I think
He's a smart guy.
he's super smart. And I think he's done a really good job of being able to do big movies and also make smaller movies big. Right? Where
Yeah.
it's like I think what happens is like when he does the drama's all and Zendaya does the drama's all of a sudden a way bigger deal than if it was like some other actors. And I think what happens is like the movie becomes big, and then it's like, oh well, he just does big movies. Well, it's like no, he makes movies big, and I think there's a
Yeah.
difference. Where like Tom Holland, like dude, no one saw fucking Cherry or like what it's like. I don't think
Sure.
Tom
The
Holland
Devil
has
All
the
the Time.
pull. Right, like well, also Rob
Well,
movies,
Robert Pattinson's in that
but
movie.
like I do think like I think Rob has such a greater pull, and I think these sort of smaller movies, quote unquote, right, are just gonna look like bigger movies because he's attached to them, which
Yeah.
it does not negate the sort of soul uh, thing where it's like Rob is choosing interesting and weird projects and taking chances.
Yeah.
That makes him more respected as an artist,
hmm
and that's why people respect him.
A new
Okay,
Nightmare on Elm Street film is in the works at Paramount.
and
Give it a
they're
rest.
using the original. I don't know what the deal is with this, like the original script.
Well, I think they just like have the rights to the original so that they can
No, I
make
know, but it was like very like in the sort of like news. It was like
in the
we're using
reporting.
Wes
Yeah.
Craven's original script, and I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know
There's
what
like
that kind of means because I'm not too familiar about
yeah.
the sort of
I mean, I think it might
history
just
in
be
that.
as simple as they're like rebooting it for a new generation.
But like I don't know if like was there like an original script he made and then he made another script and that was the script they got into the movie, or is it literally like a script for script like bar for bar remake of the original one?
Yeah.
I wish I don't know why like that's a selling point. Like why
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
why
you're
would a
gonna get
selling point be like the
a
same script?
worse guy, like a worse director than Wes Craven, to
Right?
like, yeah, to just
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm trying to
Whatever.
research this.
Um yeah, maybe they give it to
Yeah,
to
Ghost Van
okay.
Kane
Zant,
to Kane Parsons.
You said
To Kane Pixels.
Kane Pixels, KP.
Yeah. There are two casting additions to movies that we've already talked about previously. Carey Mulligan has joined the cast of Sarah Polley's film adaptation of The Bell Jar with Billie Eilish. And in addition, Joe Alwyn is in talks to star alongside Selena Gomez, Kate Blanchett, and Michael Fassbender in Brady Corbet's next film. Joe
Wait.
Alwyn
Can I
reuniting with.
actually? Well, we talked about this, and I want to go back on the nightmare thing.
Oh, okay,
Like,
sure. You have more information.
yeah.
Go
Oh, you
nuts.
want me to say it now? Okay. Well,
Yeah, yeah, sure.
it says. Oh, okay. It's just worded really weird. This thing is worded like really weird, where like, um, actually, it's like not that. Never mind. It's like stupid. They like
Okay.
Taylor Sheridan is in this article, but like when you like read it 5 times, they're just kind of like hyping up Paramount in a way where they're like talking about David Ellison and Taylor Sheridan as like what Paramount is known for in
Yeah,
relation to the Nightmare thing, but it reads like Taylor Sheridan is working on the Nightmare on Elm Street thing, but I actually do not think that is the case.
no,
But
it's
I was
just
like, why
Taylor
would you
Sheridan's
word that?
famous
Why would
Paramount
you
guy.
word that like that? It's like
Yeah,
David Ellison and Taylor Sheridan, home of whatever. But I do
Yeah.
think what it does look like a little bit like I do think they're trying to do like which I do think is like lame. I do think what they're like it looks like the original script is probably like a darker. I think they're gonna do like a fucking like you know how they talk about like A24 as like the fucking like psychological like what they talk about A24 horror. It feels like
yeah,
they're like gonna do like that kind of like they're gonna do Hereditary Nightmare on Elm Street. That's what it feels like.
Awesome.
Which is like gonna be like really bad.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. What do you mean? Do you guys have opinions about either Joe Alwyn or Carey Mulligan joining those two movies?
No.
Can you tell me what the
I
movies
love
are? 'Cause
Joe
I like.
Alwyn is working.
Joe
What are the
Alwyn is
movies?
reuniting with Brady Corbet to be
Oh,
in
right.
the new
Yes.
Brady Corbet movie.
Awesome.
And Carey Mulligan is joining the Bell Jar adaptation with Billie
The
Eilish.
Bell, Sarah Polly is really cool. I feel like that project feels like kind of crazy. I don't really know too much about it, but everything that comes out about it is like kind of confusing. But we'll see. But yeah, I mean, Joe, I think is like one of our most underappreciated guys working today, and he's
Mhm.
really good in the Brutalist.
Mhm.
So I think it's all.
Yeah,
I think it's
Brady will bring the best out of him.
yeah, for sure.
This is maybe news that I think only would matter to Doug, I guess. Uh, Garrett Waring, who was in The Long Walk, and Amanda Fix, who we have yet to see on our screens, but is in Teenage Sex and Death, have
Oh.
reportedly been cast as young Ed and Lorraine Warren in The Conjuring First
Oh, right.
Communion.
Oh.
But she is like the third lead, I guess, or like third build in Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma, and Garrett Waring is just one of the
I need to
walkers
look at
in The
him and
Long Walk.
I'll now recognize him.
Yeah, when you look him up, you'll recognize him.
Yeah,
Is he like the annoying guy?
I see him.
Yeah, he is.
Interesting. So this is interesting. They already okay. Did either of you guys see the last Conjuring movie?
I've never seen the Conjuring.
There's
no.
So in the most recent one, The Last Rites, they already have like a young Ed and Lorraine Warren in that movie. So it's
So
interesting.
they're just like replacing them.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
this is
just
also
replacing
like this isn't like
Oh, what the
like
heck?
confirmed casting, but it's just
Okay.
like the report. But yeah,
It's interesting.
I don't know.
There's like flashback scenes with a young Ed and Lorraine Warren. They're not like stars, I guess, but like that's
Right.
interesting. Okay. It's interesting. I didn't know about this.
The director is quite interesting. He's Rodrigue Hart is
Oh
French
yeah.
French music director.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, I was looking at that as well when I looked the movie up.
he has a movie in development called Suffer Little Children, which is a reimagining of the 1976 Spanish horror film Who Can Kill a Child. It's also seemingly it's a Walter Hamada.
I really want to watch that movie.
Yeah, so they're remaking it with this guy.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I've wanted to watch that movie for a while.
This is interesting. I don't know. This could be good. Listen, there isn't like a bad Conjuring movie. So
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've only seen the first one.
On his website.
Okay, but so I think actually, so Garrett Waring and Amanda Fix are younger than the people. So it's okay.
Because it's like a real proper like.
Yeah. So I think this is gonna be like.
Is the Conjuring stuff Paramount?
No, it's Warner Brothers.
Okay, because that's the Suffer Little Children is a Paramount thing.
Okay,
I see.
Or it's New Line Cinema, which is Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Well, they might all be the same thing eventually.
Yeah, whatever. It's all gonna be Paramount, maybe.
Yeah. Soon it won't matter. Yeah, it is Warner Brothers. You're right. So yeah. That was our last piece of news. Before we wrapped up, I wanted to do a quick football corner with Doug because the World Cup final starts in 30 minutes. What is your prediction for the big match, for the final match of the World Cup?
My prediction for the big game, Spain. I am going to predict Spain to win. Fuck. I don't know. Literally, my heart isn't in it, man. I'm gonna predict.
Bro, just pick your team, dude. What do you mean? You got their flag in your header, dude.
Listen, I want Messi to win. I want Argentina
from there, and you're repping their flag.
I want Argentina to win. I want Messi to win. Here's what I want to happen. I want it to be Spain. I want it to be Argentina, Spain, 3-3. And then Argentina wins off penalties. That's what I want to happen.
Okay. My prediction is close. I'll say Argentina, Spain 1-1 going to penalties, and Argentina wins it in penalties.
But to be like the most pragmatic, realistic, like put
Spain,
my
like
like
2-0.
yeah 2-0. Yeah, I think it would be
Yeah,
Spain 2-0 is the most realistic thing. But that's not
yeah.
listen. Yeah,
But that's not fun. I'm
Yeah.
going 1-1 extra time, penalties, Argentina wins it. Messi hits a fucking banger
second World
and
Cup, like golden ball. Yeah.
yeah, it's over. Yeah. Or maybe we finally get the Lamine Yamal game.
Here's the thing.
Maybe
Here's my take. I'll say this: if Lamine Yamal has a good game today and Spain
It's
wins the
over.
World Cup, better all time than Kylian Mbappe. And I'm dead serious.
Oh, that's a crazy thing to say.
Lamine Yamal better all time than Kylian Mbappe already if he wins his
I don't
World
know
Cup.
that you should like. I don't know that you should like say that publicly.
Look at their head-to-head stats. Lamine Yamal owns Kylian
Okay,
Mbappe.
sure.
How are you gonna say Kylian Mbappe is better than Lamine Yamal when he owns them in head-to-head stats? Kylian Mbappe hasn't beaten. It's like 13-2 or something in head-to-head stats across club and country. It's insane.
Yeah, sure. That's like head-to-head stats isn't like the whole story, dude.
No, of
Like
course not.
Joel Embiid would shit on Nikola Jokic head-to-head. You're gonna tell me Joel Embiid's better all time
No,
than
of course
Nikola
not.
Jokic?
Sure, that's true. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
No, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Good prediction. All right. Let's wrap up there. Next week, episode 175. I'll be talking about Her Private Hell.
Oh my god.
baby.
I hope. So we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.